everyone. Welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is episode 144. I'm here with my co-facilitator, Lionel.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? How you doing today, Mike?
I'm good, brother. Yourself?
I am well.
All right. We'll get started. Please hit the like button as you come in. Um, just as a note as well, we are not certified financial planners. If you want a certified financial planner, please go to cfp.net. The docket is in the description beneath the video, and we will get started. All right, let me share my screen. All right, this first one is from Kotaku.com. Activision Blizzard employees brace for massive layoffs. Staff at the game publisher Activision Blizzard are preparing for big layoffs next week, waiting to see who will be one of the potentially hundreds of employees who could lose their jobs on Tuesday. There's been no official news from the publisher yet, but we first heard word of upcoming layoffs late last year. At at the time, Activision and Blizzard staff told me they expected the axe to fall in February, and I started hearing more and more rumors earlier this week, with whispers suggesting that the layoffs would happen ahead of the publisher's quarterly earnings call, which is on Tuesday, February 12th. Employees across all of Activision's offices have been kept in the dark as they wait to see what would happen. Some say they are pretty sure they are safe. Others say they fear they will no longer have jobs next week. Last night, Bloomberg reported that the layoffs would take place on Tuesday and in number in the hundreds. When contacted earlier this week by Kotaku about the upcoming layoffs, a spokesperson for Activision did not respond to requests for comment. A spokesperson for Blizzard declined to comment twice. This news comes after tumultuous year for the publisher, which consists of two entities, Activision and Blizzard. Both Activision and Blizzard operate autonomously but are governed by the same C-suite of executives, including CEO Bobby Kotick. At Blizzard, 2018 was the year full of cost cutting under Chief Operating Officer Armin Zerza, whose mandate has been to reduce spending and produce more games. Yeah, I think I'll stop right there. But cuts are coming. Um, if you think that your job is safe, think again because even these guys, the gaming industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they're still seeing problems as well. So, what do you think about this, Lionel?
Yeah, it seems like this company was a year away from people losing jobs. It's not like, well, we are in a excuse me, the case wasn't, well, we're in a slump right now, or we're having problems with our sales, but we have enough reserves in the bank to keep people on board. It's it's not. I don't think companies operate that way especially when they have investors. When they have investors and and the annual reports or the financial reports come out annually, quarterly, um, whatever the case may be, and they see the sale prices are not where they would like it to be to match the projections, then they're going to want to save money to save losses. They they are investing in in this, I'm about to say country, company. So the first wave of cuts will be employees. We see that with GM. Yeah, GM. Um, yeah, as you said, no one's job safe.
Hmm. All right, we'll move on to the next one. All right, this next one is from BusinessInsider.com. Millions of Americans are struggling with their car payments, and even economists are surprised. According to a new report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, more than 7 million Americans have reached serious delinquency status on their auto loans, meaning they are at least 90 days behind on payments. Fed economists said this is sur- this is surprising considering a strengthening labor market and economy. People often prioritize car loans because they may need to drive to get to work and earn a paycheck. The Washington Post, Heather Long reported the fact that a record number of Americans aren't making those payments is, quote, usually a sign of significant duress among low income and working class Americans, Long wrote. Quote, the substantial and growing number of distressed borrowers suggests that not all Americans have benefited from the strong labor market and warrants continued monitoring and analysis of this sector. The data show that most of the borrowers whose auto loans have recently moved into delinquency and people younger than 30 years old and people with low credit scores. 8% of the 8% of the borrowers with credit scores below 620, otherwise known as subprime, went from good standing to delinquent on their auto loans in the fourth quarter of 2018. And the data shows that most delinquencies come from auto finance lenders rather than banks and credit unions. The Fed found that the Fed found that half of the outstanding loans from auto finance companies are made to subprime borrowers, and 6.5% of those loans are more than 90 days overdue. That's compared to just 14% of outstanding loans from credit unions made to subprime loans, 0.7%, which are delinquent. The delinquency figure represents a new high in auto loan market. More than 1 million more people are behind on auto loan payments now than at the end, now than at the end of the 2010. More people have auto loans now than in 2010. So while the overall rate of delinquency is down, the total number of people who have fallen at least 90 days behind their payments is higher. So we talked about this before, Lionel.
Yes. Yeah. We talked this about this many a times. As a matter of fact, you brought it up like summer last year. How people were 45. I think the amount of days you put out was 45 days back then. Now people are 90 days behind. Um, I don't know what kind of maybe these. I don't know if these contracts they signed were predatory contracts where after a certain time the APR skyrocket. Although the article did point out they don't think this will be a the cause of recession like the housing market was last year because when people tend to get auto loans, it's only for I think they say 30,000. When houses is a couple 100,000, but it still is a problem because it skyrocketed. More and more people are losing their cars, especially after people put paying their car note as a priority because they can do more things with their car. They can sleep in it if they are out of a job. They can uh, obviously use to go to work and so forth. So they put more of a higher priority on paying their car payments. But now you see people not. This is the canary in the coal mine of people even not being able to pay their car note.
Hmm.
which means something is really going on. And like they said, not everybody benefited from the quote unquote bull market economy. A lot of people don't have the type of jobs they have. Maybe they're not paying a lot, and the people that it's affecting the most are 30 and under, which are a lot of millennials. So yeah,
Well, I think the people who do keep up with their payments, and I probably go out on a limb here, but I personally have my stuff auto deducted, so I don't even see it. Um, so it's automatically paid in advance, at least a month ahead in advance. So I'm always a month ahead on my schedule. So I think what's happening here is that people are getting into these these what we call stealerships, these urban car dealers who sell cars at an astronomical rate that are used too, and they get into these high percentage predatory loans. And what these predatory loans do is that I saw one where a person was paying 27 to 28% APR on their rate. So yeah, that's you're bound to hear more delinquencies in those areas than what you would in the higher credit scores because there's more income coming in to supplement that supplement that payment due. So Abdul, what's going on?
what's going on?
What's going on, fellas? Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on what Lionel was saying. Yeah, I do believe this is like the canary in the coal mine. Um, the question is, if you can if you can't pay your car note, about your mortgage or rent, you know.
Hmm. Well, well, we talked about this before. Millennials are the reason why Ford is shutting down their car divisions because they can't afford to buy them. They don't meet the proper credit score. So they get disqualified a lot because your credit score is 540. You need at least a 650 to get in, or 640 to get in, for most of the your tier one brands. So and then they go apply for a mortgage and they can't get the mortgage because again the credit score is below 640. You need at least a 644 to actually get in, or 645 to actually get in.
I excuse me. Again, what you just said speaks to the broader what's going on. For a lot of people are can't get these, like for a better term, good rates.
Hmm.
They have to settle for these predatory, worse bad rates of 20 some percent because your credit score is below the target. That means a lot more people, which are millennials, we are the largest group, generation group in America,
Hmm.
which means a lot of us don't have good credit scores, which so you have to ask the question why. A lot of us are being late on our um,
Right.
responsibilities. You have to ask the question why.
Hmm.
What jobs we have, why. So a lot of questions pop up if this is the case.
And this is bound to be the case because of a shortage in jobs, a high quality paying jobs. So therefore, they can't build up their credit because they don't qualify for proper credit cards. Most credit card companies want something at least. Um, Again, they're looking at 620, 635, 640 for a credit score. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people in the Hangout. So that's where all these problems are stemming from, and I think that there needs to be a review on the way we look at credit. Now, before your credit score, the max it could have been was like 720, 750. Now they pushed up the credit scores to 800. Who has an 800 credit score? I've never heard of a person with an 800 credit score before. And I think what's starting to happen is, you know, the American dream has become a nightmare for millennials. The millennials are the fastest growing class of poverty right now. So somebody has to figure this out.
Well, because the I forgot what the guy's name that they made that act where you have to have certain criteria. I think it's uh
Buffett Act,
I the which one?
the Buffett Act.
No, it's one of the congressmen. Or he basically made a act where you have to qualify to get a mortgage. You have to pre-qualify certain you have to have certain standards to get even be able to get a mortgage or go through the process. I I it was it's like something in my memory banks, but anyway, like yeah, you have to have a 620 before you. Well, I know for like the standard rate, you have to have a 620 credit score. I think for the FHA, you could have like a 580 or something like that. But
Five, yeah, 580.
yeah, you have to have those requirements before you can even go through any qualifications to get a mortgage. Before, uh, when they had all these, a lot of people were, taking advantage of all kind of different ways, and a lot of them were shady. Like you could get used to be able to get a house with unstated, like you didn't have to uh like show any type of income. You could could show business income, or like your use your taxes and actually get a property. And yeah, like they weren't really looking at even credit in some cases. Like your credit, it was no credit standard. But I think that they should overhaul that, like, because I mean, you can have good credit, but then you lose your job. Then what? You know, I mean, if you look at anything, I think they should require more down payments versus what your credit score is versus um you just saying you just have to have this guaranteed credit score per se. But I mean, I'm not a politician or anything, but
Yeah, you're onto something. I also think that there has to be more of a collective um, rating rather than an individual rating, right? So if I live in a neighborhood where everybody's credit score is at is below 640, we need to take the average of that and make that the base standard, right? Instead of saying, well, this these other people have a credit score of 650, 700, and they qualify, but you coming in at a 580, but you may not be able to get out of that because for a lot of black men, their mothers opened up accounts in their name when they were younger. Cable bills or cable accounts and cell phone accounts all up in their kids' names. And next thing they don't have the their credit score is all jacked up by the time they become an adult, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's
and
out of,
even
control.
without even that, you know, pretty much it's no to mirror BGS. It's no we're when you compare yourself to white folks, to the white collective or whatever, it's no like equilibrium. We're like way behind economically compare. I mean, this is all pretty much written data. I mean, like the average household wealth for for whites is like 100,000. The average household, black household, is like 12,000. You
Well, in
know,
Boston,
so it's
in Boston, the white people have $220,000 in household income, and black people only have $8,000 in household income. This is
right.
in 2018. This is in 2018. They're talking about this.
Wow. Yeah. So it's not you coming out of college with student loan debt on average and so on and so forth, and you already have a deficit as far as household wealth. You know, it's no equal footing even with that. So like even if you had good credit, I mean, you just the wealth factor in that is that you don't have that much to cushion yourself if something happens, or if, just to even start, so
Right. You have class fragility in that realm. Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just overall, I mean, just outside of that, I mean, um as far as car payments and not this article is concerned, I actually saw that article and I was thinking about uh pretty much what you guys and talk about on a normal. I didn't think that you would actually even put this on there because I was thinking to myself like, man, I should email these guys and you know email this article because it was very interesting to me because it was like, well, I first when I saw that, because I keep hearing, even you guys, I keep hearing, it's an economic downturn coming on, and I mean even CNBC and a lot of these financial guy, experts, that's what they're saying. Like, it's something, down the road, like 2020 or even this year. This is just a financial downturn. I mean, just like what you were saying with the article was saying with Activision, laying off people, and it's going to be even more layoffs. So when I saw them basically talking about the car payments being late, 90 days and so on and so forth, I was thinking to myself, like, man, this is an economic indicator right here. You
Hmm.
know, this is something that plays into an overall a bigger spectrum. I mean, you know, so it's like if you can't pay your car payment, and this is the tool you use basically to go to work, pick your kids up from soccer practice or basically go go to do your daily activities,
Hmm.
then you probably late somewhere else or behind somewhere else,
Right.
so
People are making priorities or prioritizing their money. Right. So maybe they might put, instead of filling up their gas tank, they might just put $10 in there. They scrunging at this point.
yeah, so
Their insurance is in option one. It's not the full coverage. It's just the base coverage.
right, it's something that it's some type of effect, cause and effect that this has. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I believe that it kind of fits in the whole kind of recession picture. That's what I was thinking. It's like this is one piece to the puzzle of a looming recession, something like that to come.
Yeah. Well, we can let our resident analyst, Dollar Will, speak on this. Dollar, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, Dollar Will?
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
What's going
What's
on, brother?
going on?
What's up, brother Abdul? Welcome to the panel.
What's going on now?
All right. Yeah. I'm just kind of catching up to what y'all talking. You talking about the car backlog on the car payments?
Yes, they're 90 days behind. Remember when we first started talking about this, we were talking about 45 days behind. Now it's
Right.
90.
So you're saying that 90 days that takes us prior to the government shutdown, right?
Hmm.
So we can't even really blame the start of this on the shutdown. The shutdown, of course, probably made it worse, probably exacerbated it. But this thing started before the shutdown. If we talking 90 days,
Mm-hmm.
So that means that at some point, I mean, look, okay, so the dominoes are set up that we're gonna have some bad employment numbers pretty soon,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the optimists are gonna blame it on the government shutdown. But as we just did the math, 90 days takes us before the government shutdown.
Yeah, 90 days was November 17th.
Right.
Right. That's before Christmas. That's before Thanksgiving. Before Black Friday. So that explains why some of those, a lot of those Christmas sales numbers were down too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something going on in the macro economy that's affecting. We're talking about the largest number of people since what was it, like 2007, which was a severe downturn.
Mm-hmm. People started
So
trading in the SUVs for more Priuses and
right, right. I mean, a car is not a car is a security item.
mm-hmm.
It's not a luxury item.
Mm-hmm.
Transportation equates to safety. And go ahead, Abdul.
Yeah, especially in the colder climates, like
Right.
if you in Chicago and you ain't got no car, I mean, you liable to get, freeze to death from being out here. It's so cold.
I mean, you got people who routinely, have daycare and their kids are not in walking distance of the home and daycare. We don't. A lot of Americans don't live in neighborhoods where they can walk to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And even with Uber, that's going to be pretty expensive. Taking Uber to the grocery store when you don't have money. I mean, this is going to get ugly. I mean, everything is going to see the effects of. I mean, outside of food. I mean, you're going to try to keep your car. You're going to try to keep your house. And they'll take your house. I mean, they'll take your car before they'll take your house.
Yeah, they'll put a lien on your house, but they won't put a lien on your car. They just come get that shit.
They just come get it. So people know that. They know they can't go long and still drive that car around. So things have to be pretty bad for folks to miss to get 3 months behind in a car payment. I mean, you're gonna see things like people go delinquent on healthcare insurance because you can't eat that. Everything but food. So you're going to see this trickle throughout the various corporations, and we're going to see it. It's going to show up eventually on the charts because all these, anybody you can just make a list of every monthly subscription people have. Whether it's cable TV, streaming media, you
Netflix,
name it. Just
Hulu,
make
YouTube TV, all that.
There you go. All
Car
that.
insurance. If they
All
can't pay their car payment, I mean, I'm almost certain they're not paying their car insurance. I mean,
Yeah,
that's right.
Car insurance will go first.
And because everything is going to come down to food or this, and we know food going to win every time.
Or then you take into the fact that people, people live in food deserts.
Yeah, but even in food deserts, they have to go and pay those high prices for low quality food at the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, then that ends up with health consequences. So it's a, pretty vicious cycle we're in for.
And then on top of that, as Dollar Will said, I think a couple weeks ago, I asked a question in the chat. I was like, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but car sales are pretty disastrous. I mean, I don't really watch the markets
Oh,
too
you're
much,
right.
but
They are.
yeah. So I mean, it just kind of mirrors 2008. I'm looking at it's like if I got in a time machine and I went back to 2007, 2008, I'm starting to see the same type of trends, just basic stuff like, car sales are real stagnant, and people not paying their car payments. Certain things like,
You muted. Dude, you muted.
oh yeah, so yeah, it just mirrors 2008, the Great Recession of 2008. These trends with car payments. I wonder if people are. I wonder what people are, if they're not paying their car payments. What about credit card payments? Are they
Oh, we
paying?
yeah we discussed that as well. That it always has a cascading effect. I think we covered an article about maybe a month or so ago about credit cards being in delinquency. Um, so it all has cascading effects, and I think that we're going to see something major happen in the next few quarters, maybe quarter three, quarter four. You're going to see something major, impactful happen that you're not going to be able to recover from.
Yeah,
And
like somebody
if
that's 30 years old, they probably were 18 in what 2008, so they might have a vague memory of it. But somebody like under 30, they've never seen anything like this. They were dependents the last time we had an issue. Now they have to pay bills on their own. This is gonna be a new experience for people under 30.
yeah, and then you mount on student loans, you mount on all on top of all of this. That's an avalanche for millennials, because these are millennials that they're talking about. They're not talking about Xers or baby boomers. They're talking about millennials.
Oh, okay. So they're talking about millennials. Oh, okay,
This is for under 30.
okay, 30 and under.
Hmm. If you're holding on to a house right now, now's the time to get the hell out of it.
Yeah,
Now's the time to cash it in now, because once the economy goes into a serious downturn, that house ain't gonna be worth nothing.
yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be hard to sell. I know.
Hmm.
I was having this kind of conversation with people a year ago, telling them, look, you need to sell that house, and the comeback always was, well, where am I going to live? You can rent. you know, you can pay rent in somebody's basement if you got to, and wait, just for a couple of years, and you'll come back, the richer. You'll have that money, that equity that you got that house, and you'll be able to come back and buy the same house or a better one for less money.
All right, next article is from CryptoBriefing.com. A senior executive at Western Union has announced the company is getting ready for a surge in cryptocurrencies and is currently trialing some of the technology developed by Ripple Labs for use in its settlement services. Molly Shia, the general manager of Asia Pacific at Western Union, explained in the Analyze Asia podcast that the financial services company, which reported revenue of $1.4 billion in Q4 2018, was preparing itself for a future where digital assets begin to take off. Quote, when you think about cryptocurrencies, if those start to take off, we need to be ready, Shay said. We need to be ready to, yeah, this is grammatical error here. We need to be ready to form a technology perspective. Regulations got to be there, but you constantly have to be looking for those trends where the customers are looking, and make sure that you're ready to meet those needs and expectations. As part of this preparation, she has said Western Union is exploring legitimate and widely acceptable use cases for cryptocurrencies. One such area is settlements. The company is currently performing quote settlement tests on whether Ripple could be used in certain corridors, particularly with the U.S. dollar and Mexican peso. Crypto Briefing reached out to Western Union for additional information and comment on its Ripple trials, but did not receive a response by press time. Established in 1851, 168 years ago, Western Union provides remittance services allowing customers to send funds across border and in multiple currencies. The company sent more than $300 billion in 2018. Its network has more than 550,000 retail locations, more than all of the Starbucks and McDonald's outlets in the world, she says. Although the XRP cryptocurrency, part of XRapid solution, is perhaps the most famous product offered by Ripple Labs, it isn't the only one. The company only offers an Xcurrent solution, which uses blockchain technology, but not necessarily XRP, for banks and other financial institutions to communicate with one another before, during, and after a cross-border transaction. A source at the National Bank of Kuwait told Crypto Briefing in October last year that the bank was waiting for regulatory approval to use Xcurrent. The service finally went live at the end of December. Collaboration between Ripple Labs and Western Union has been known for some time. The company began testing Ripple's blockchain towards the end of 2017. In 2016, Western Union invested in Digital Currency Group, DCG, a venture capital company, which has also made investments into Ripple. Although CEO, I won't read the rest of it, but we talked about this before. Lionel, what do you think about this?
Yes, we did talk about it before a couple months ago last year. And the article we read, the CEO of Western Union said that they used Ripple's XRapid and XRP token to do a cross-border transfer. And the conclusion was it was not beneficial. It did not come out cheaper to what they had at the time. And I remember that because Delaware was saying they charge $10, $15, $20. And we all agreed that that's how they make the bulk of their money, by charging these exorbitant fees for people to send money to India, to Kenya, to Southeast Asia, Mexico. Even within the country, I've sent money to my sister within the same city, and it cost me $5, $10. So that's how they make their money. Now we see this. Now they're saying, well, yeah, we're going to get on the bandwagon. Yeah, we're going to do this and that. Well, what happened to it? It wasn't feasible. What happened to it wasn't cheaper than what you had? So I remember Dollar Will saying a while ago, all those articles that you see talking about, well, no to this and no to that, say those articles, and you will see people change their mind or say something different after something happens. So to me, I always knew this, that they were just talking, maybe trying to do something of their own in the background, to 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 keep their money flow going. But yeah, this to me is not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At the as that long article went on, they pretty much restated what Lionel said, that they said it doesn't offer a financial advantage. They say it's a net. It's just a break even. It doesn't really make any difference. And they say that the process is not really different from fiat currency. And they kind of made it sound like they want to get involved in crypto transactions using the blockchain provided by the makers of XRP. I can't think of their name. What's the name of the company? What's something Labs? What's their name, Mike?
Ripple Labs.
Ripple Labs. Okay, it's saying that basically they're going to provide the use the Ripple Labs blockchain, and because that's what the people want. That's basically what they're saying. It's like, okay, it's a marketing thing. People want to be able to make trades or receive payouts in cryptos, or XRP. And so, but in the end, it doesn't make any difference to us. It's not any cheaper, and it's not that different from fiat. That's basically what they're saying. But they changed anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Abdul, you have anything to add to this?
No, I don't have anything.
All right.
So sound like dude was pouting, but he changed anyway. So
Well, if they're gonna lose money, if it only costs what a nickel or something like that to send money through Ripple through Ripple's products,
right,
and you were already charging $5 to $10 for a transaction before, of course
well
you don't
he's
see the feasibility in that.
right. There goes his yacht.
Oh, well, there goes their brick and mortar institution because now you can just send things through PayPal and other forms of fintech now. See,
Right. They said
they
in the article that Western Union has more, or I think it said more facilities than McDonald's and Starbucks combined.
yeah, that makes sense.
I don't recall seeing that many Western Unions around.
I see them a lot.
Yeah, they're in all poor neighborhoods.
I see them a
Oh,
lot. Well, not to say I'm living in a poor neighborhood, but I see them a lot.
okay.
Yeah, anywhere where the household income is below that of $60,000, that's where you see Western Unions.
Gotcha.
I use them online, but I mean it's rare. But you could send money online, and it's always some crazy fees like $20, for like sending a couple $100 or something like that.
Oh yeah, they were it was milk and honey before a blockchain. It was milk and honey before cryptocurrencies. Now that the fintechs are starting to pop up, they feel the pressure.
I mean, PayPal and Square Cash and all of them have to be hurting Western Union.
Oh, they've absolutely been hurting Western Union, but a lot of your legacy businesses still use Western Union. I know like Bank of America, those other car companies and stuff. Well, I shouldn't say car companies, but auto finance companies still require a Western Union payment in order to make pay on your car note. So that's where they're making those big transactions too. Those legacy companies and those legacy institutions.
Walmart is came in and kind of uh offered a cheaper rate, but still expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than Western Union and MoneyGram.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, you would think that Western Union would have, prior to this, all this technological innovation, that they would have thought ahead and given you a way to just like transfer it to your debit card. You think they would have done that a long time ago.
well then they have to hold on to user data, and they don't want to do that.
But
Right now you have to be PCI DSS. Well, they're already PCI DSS, but they also have to be audited by the SEC and all that stuff. They don't want to go through all that stuff.
but I'm interested in like, I mean, it's gotta. I mean, I don't. People are not using Western Union like they used to. I know, like what, 5 or 10 years ago, because now you have like I use Zelle, or they a lot of other people use I think, what is it called, Cash App or
Yeah.
Venmo.
Yeah.
So I mean, people ain't going, running out to go to Western Union like that anymore, even MoneyGram.
Right.
Because
You
they
don't really want to, just like the chance for robbery, getting out of the daggone Western Union, getting
right.
What's going
tricked out.
what's going to happen is when Facebook goes live with their whole entire fintech offering, they're going to bankrupt Western Union altogether. Facebook has 2.5 billion users. They're a society within themselves. Everybody has Facebook, including the most poorest person who lives in a shelter or who's homeless. They have a Facebook. Even guys in jail have Facebook now. So
And
they
you
have
can
access.
find a free Wi-Fi if you gotta have some money and you can't even afford internet. There's Wi-Fi everywhere.
No, it's impossible to use the internet now and not have a Facebook or some form of social media account. And that's where Facebook comes in. And we've read articles about Facebook adopting blockchain and buying out, looking for blockchain developers and so on and so forth, and getting into fintech. Once that happens, Once they come up with their own token and stuff like that, it's game over. They got 500. I'm saying they, being Western Union, they have 550,000 locations, but that's only going to work for so long before somebody like Facebook,
I think you're right.
somebody like if YouTube was smart, they would, YouTube's a little bit different of a media platform, but once all the social media platforms,
especially if they get Instagram in on the game.
what do you mean?
With all of that let's see, IG model love going on over there. You just add some currency, some immediate currency like that. That's what's gonna push it forward.
Yeah, if let's say Western Union paid me to do a marketing research analysis or something, and I went out and I went to Western Union locations and I interviewed Western Union customers. I guarantee that the average Western Union customer fit 3 of these basic reasons why they use Western Union. One, they're either like economically poor. 2, they're low tech, meaning they don't probably have maybe not even have a smartphone, like just have a flip phone, or they don't really know how to use a computer or know about apps or whatever, or don't use them like that.
You mean it's a literacy issue?
Yeah, and then 3, they're a combination of both, but they're older, like a lot of older people, grandparents and whatnot. They don't be on internet and stuff like that, so they don't mess with Cash App or Venmo or PayPal or Facebook like that.
No. I think you're onto something, but the bigger picture is that people are so poor that they can't afford to open up a traditional bank account because they can't afford to keep the balance.
Right. True.
So that's where Western Union comes in, because for a long time there's been redlining in the black community, a lack of access or lack of financial literacy as well. So that played a role. But now with social media coming in and things like Coinbase and MasterCard filing all these patents to incorporate cryptocurrencies into their MasterCard network, and Visa doing the same thing, I would say that Western Union has maybe about 18 months before they bite the dust. At best.
18 months.
I mean, we've made predictions on this platform before, on the Black Brain Trust before, and we haven't been wrong at all.
Wow, you said 18 months, but man, that's interesting. So you saying basically by 2020, Western Union. So I should short Western Union right now. Put some money together and short. I mean, but you know what? I don't know about 18 months. Maybe I would say by maybe like 2 to 5 years, just proactively. Western Union and MoneyGram will not. I haven't looked at them. I'm probably will look at their yearly because I know they're publicly traded. And look at them, but I'm sure they're losing market share by far. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, older people, of course, get old until pretty much you go. It's your funeral, and then who's left? I mean, pretty soon, like they'll have so many services, or I mean, pretty much poor people are still on Facebook, like you said, like even in jail, on Facebook or whatnot. I think they already have a way to send money through Facebook. I think you have to go to the chat or something like that. You can send money through a group chat.
Yeah, but there's no Facebook debit card, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Once they start issuing Facebook debit cards and stuff like that, it's over.
Yeah, because I was using PayPal debit cards since like what over 10 years, and you just send the money. Or if I get money in my PayPal account, I can just go, take money out the ATM or use it
Hmm.
anywhere MasterCard was accepted or whatever.
Hmm.
So I mean that's nothing new, but it's like a lot of people do not even back then or even now. A lot of people don't use PayPal still. I mean, you know, talking about black people here, but it's like an average person probably still doesn't use PayPal like that or whatever. But after people get comfortable with it and people use it, yeah, I mean, it's gonna phase out other stuff like MoneyGram. I mean, they're already. I'm sure they're phasing out MoneyGram in Western Union. I mean, only people that use that is like you say, like I say, older people and yeah, poor people for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah. I think MoneyGram is going to make it just because of where they're located right there in a Walmart. I think they're going to be around. Um, Another category of do it I'll add is just people down on their luck. They don't necessarily fit in the category of socioeconomically poor. They just lost their job, because we're going, as we're going to see in this downturn, middle and so-called upper higher class people, they're going to get laid off too. Nobody's getting away. Hard times can fall on anybody.
Yeah,
But I agree with your time frame. I'd say about 2 to 3 years, because it's going to be hard to keep the doors of Western Union open when that foot traffic dries up, because there's just too many other ways to send money. Nobody really needs Western Union outside of the companies that Mike was talking about. But those companies are going to have to offer, I guess, more convenient payment, and they will. They're going to change with the times too, and
the,
But
so.
somebody has
the
to offer an alternative solution. Nobody has really
yeah.
offered that outside of Ripple.
the
So
reason why I said like it probably most likely would be a longer term because it's like um Western Union is an old establishment. One, they probably have a lot of capital cushion. I mean, I'm sure they're sitting on billions of dollars, as far as capital to
yeah.
kind of hang around. Like for example,
Hmm.
who'd have thought BlackBerry still be in business? I mean, their stock is probably what OTC at this point. I'm not sure, but
What do you mean OTC?
like it's outside
Over
of
the
the
counter
regular market.
bulletin board.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not sure.
no, they are a growing company at this point.
Oh,
They're a cybersecurity company now. They're not a phone maker anymore. They already split off
oh,
their
okay.
phone
So
market.
they went into the avenue of their encryption and went with that with their corporate encryption.
No,
Uh,
no,
oh,
they went into cyber. They went into being a software company rather than a hardware company. So
oh,
they got
okay.
out of hardware for making phones and focused strictly on software. So they have medical solutions, and they also have a blockchain solution, and they also just bought a company called Cylance, which is a major cybersecurity company. So they have positioned themselves into to be a part of um, the fourth industrial revolution. So they're going to survive one way or
Okay.
another. So
Right.
that's where they are. But to go back to your point about Western Union, Western Union has been around since slavery. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so they help they help facilitate a lot of slave trading as well. So that's why they're so wealthy and so established. We should
Yeah.
we should go after them for reparations, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Right. Yeah. And it's like I don't I yeah, that and then also the third thing is that okay, well, when they see that, the the wolf in sheep's clothing is, spotted and the wolf can no longer eat the sheep. I mean, they're gonna take off their wool and offer a lower rate and probably try to survive a little bit or whatever. I don't know. They're gonna do whatever they can. But I mean, Sears is what on is it? If Sears is it flatline yet? It's right. It's I think they flatline, but they working out some type of deal with the CEO, ex-CEO or something like that. But
They're
man,
investable at this point. So
yeah, right.
let me get to this next article. All right, this one is from Bloomberg.com. Mysterious Turkish firm helped Maduro move $900 million. 2 months after Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro visited his counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Ankara, a mysterious company called Sardis sprang into existence. The firm started business with a bang in January 2018 when it imported about $41 million worth of gold from Venezuela. The first such transaction between the two countries in records that go back 50 years. The next month, its volume more than doubled, with Sardes transporting about 100 million worth to Turkey. In November, when President Donald Trump signed an executive order authorizing sanctions on Venezuelan gold, after sending an envoy to warn Turkey off the trade, Sardes has shuttled $900 million of precious metal out of the country. Not bad for a company with just $1 million in capital, according to regulatory filings in Istanbul. It's not the first time that Turkey has positioned itself as a workaround for countries facing U.S. sanctions, potentially undermining Washington's efforts to isolate governments it considers hostile or corrupt. Ankara has often tested the boundaries of U.S. tolerance, and alliance between key NATO members is now essentially broken, according to two senior U.S. officials. Shifting alliances. Long one of America's most valued partners in a region straddling Europe and the Middle East, Turkey has increasingly found common interests with authoritarian countries such as Russia, China, Iran, and Venezuela. How is that authoritarian? It's interesting. When National Assembly leader Juan Guaido declared himself Venezuela's rightful president last month, the U.S. and many other Western countries rushed to declare their support for him. Turkey aligned itself with those behind Maduro. It's unclear what underpins Turkey's support for Maduro beyond a general opposition to U.S. meddling in efforts to overthrow nominally democratic governments. Erdogan faced a coup in 2016 and has fashioned himself as a champion elected leaders everywhere, even where votes were widely considered neither free nor fair. Economic ties between the two nations are barely a factor. Venezuela doesn't rank among the top 20 trading partners for Turkey, according to data compiled by Bloomberg. But that doesn't mean that Erdogan can't use Turkey's $850 billion economy, the largest in the Middle East, to help friends in need. While Sardes gold corridor appears to have closed in November, there are other avenues. A Sardes spokesperson did not respond to requests for comment. Erdogan traveled to Caracas in December to introduce the Venezuelan leader to Ahmed Al-Tisi, chairman of one of Turkey's largest gold refiners. The next month, Maduro's close ally, Tariq al-Assami, reciprocated with a visit to an Al-Atisi refiner in the central Turkish city of Koroum. Turkey's pro-government media reported that the Venezuelan gold would be processed there. That never materialized because Al-Atisi was weary of falling foul of U.S. sanctions, according to a person with direct knowledge of the visit. Instead, Al-Atisi surveyed refining technology to try and replicate it back home, the person said, asking not to be identified because of the sensitivity of the matter. So, I don't even know what gold is moving at right now. Let me see if I can find a chart for gold. Pull up bar chart.
It's rolling pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pissing me off. It should have rolled over. It's rolling.
That's another sign. If they hedging gold, that means that the market is kind of risky.
Just want to share my screen real quick. Um, let's share my screen.
Yeah, but that's a lot of gold. I mean, when I saw the story, I'm like, wow, if your country's, I sent that pay less store thing to your article. You see that, Mike?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So
um,
gold is moving at above 1,300 right now, more approximately around 1,322. So it's up 8%, I guess, on daily. So
yeah,
today
it's
is
been
Friday.
rolling strong since August. It's been on a vicious rise since August.
Mm-hmm. What were you gonna say, Lionel?
Oh no, I wasn't gonna say anything.
I mean, when you see a country into hyperinflation like they are, I mean, it lets you know just how on the brink of or how unstable things are there, and countries start exporting all this gold.
And another
That
thing,
was my idea. I mean, am I reading too? Am I going too far with that, Mike?
no,
Is it a risk or fear that of theft?
Um, you mean theft on behalf of the adversaries, or what?
Of this of people on the ground within Venezuela.
Well, this belongs to the government. It wouldn't belong to the people on the ground.
Oh yeah, but how can you protect it? Can the government adequately protect it?
The gold.
Yeah.
They, from my understanding, they have military guarding it. So a lot of the decisions are being made by the military, and not so much by the president himself. I haven't seen gold dip below 1,100 in quite some time. I think the last time gold was down below 1,100 was probably what 2000.
16 or something, late
Yeah,
2016 or something like that, right?
yeah, yeah. It was down maybe within the last presidential cycle is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
and another thing that is interesting for a long time. Platinum is historically higher than gold, right? It's rare. It's more rare than gold, isn't it? And platinum is like 800 uh per ounce right now, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the platinum chart. Is it up steeply?
Platinum historically is more rare and more, it costs more than gold. For example, like remember back in like the late 90s
It's
or in
rarer.
2000s, yeah, you remember Jay-Z, all these rappers, they were talking about they platinum chains and this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
Because like platinum is historically is more expensive and more rare than gold.
Is it
That's what
platinum or palladium?
It's platinum.
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 Platinum is more rare.
Yeah.
They believe all the platinum in the world has been mined already, or either that or the areas where it can be mined is very
It's
low.
yeah,
Your voice
it's
is low, Mike. I'm sorry, Lionel.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
it's very few mines of platinum. I think it's like I know it's one in South Africa. Um and a few I don't know where else, but it's if I had the money, if I was a rich man, I would unload money in silver and platinum, primarily platinum, because platinum has peaked back up to past gold. I don't remember what year, but it's historically been more expensive than gold. I mean, so in theory, gold. I mean, platinum is pretty much wholesale right now. because a lot of people putting their assets in gold to hedge probably the dollar or whatever. Um,
Well,
you know,
because platinum gets used in consumer goods a lot more, though, a lot more so than gold does. I mean, gold is an actual tradable asset, not in the same regards as platinum would be. I mean, you wouldn't. You wouldn't use platinum on a battery or anything like that. It's just used in very very rare occasions. Um,
yeah, they
I
use
just
them.
posted. I just
Yeah,
posted a chart of platinum and gold all in one chart in our internal chat.
okay, let me pull that up.
yeah, they use platinum a lot in catalytic converters. That's why a lot of people they steal your they take a sawzall and take off your catalytic converter.
Yeah, yeah, we discussed that one already.
Yeah,
So you
yeah, we
saying
did.
so you won't find that in the junkyard?
No,
They
you won't, because we. I had. I'll give you an example. I used to work at a certain company, and the guy had a lifted pickup truck, and he left his car in the parking lot. I mean, like every other typical employee would. Some guys came by with a hacksaw and came right up under his truck and cut that sucker down while he was at lunch. He came out at the end of the day to start his car. He couldn't start it because there was no catalytic converter. So they cashed
yeah
in pretty well off of that.
yeah you could get. I
Wow.
think last I checked, you can get like $60 for a catalytic converter. I mean, so that's not a bad haul for somebody that does that.
Yeah, you knock off about 12 cars a day, you should be good. Looking at this chart right now for that Dollar Will posted, platinum prices versus gold prices.
We don't see it.
Are you sure? Oh, sorry.
Now we see it.
Walk us through this Dollar Will. What are we looking at?
Oh, well, that peak. I see. So what's the scroll down? Which one is gold and which one is platinum? Scroll it down a little bit. Uh, Actually, let me look on my own copy. Let's see. I'm looking for the legend that shows which one is gold and which one is. I would say the gold looking one is gold, just because I know from memory where the peak in gold was. So that peak in gold is in 2011, and the peak in platinum is in 2008. But they look pretty close in value in the price, and they seem to. But it is telling that platinum started falling first, but they look pretty close. But you can see around 2015 they're moving in opposite directions. You just look at that period from like December of 2015. They seem to be going opposite one another. That is kind of strange that they would do that. You would think that they would move together. And if you look since like 1990 up until 2008, generally they did move together.
Yeah,
So
gold. Yeah, so you. Let me see. 2010. Yeah, gold was down 864, huh?
yeah. Well, I'm not looking too bright right now. I'm of the opinion, not a popular opinion, that not today at least,
Mm-hmm.
that that gold is going to tank.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say tank, I mean fall below that $1,000 level,
If the trajectory
closer
stays true.
to the $90 to the $900 level. But we'll
Mm-hmm.
see. I'm not looking too good right now. It's not my position is not a popular one, but I'm not giving it up yet.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next one is from CryptoBriefing.com. Crypto meets Wakanda, a story of transformation in Uganda. In the Western world, many people look at cryptocurrencies as an investment and obsess over their pricing movements. In Africa, however, cryptos are much more than an investment asset class. They are transforming lives in the financial services sector and beyond. One of the most transformative uses of for cryptocurrency and blockchain tech has been by Wala, a Ugandan crypto startup. Wala recognized the great challenge that people in the sub-Sahara experience with traditional banking and decided to do something about it. The firm uses the dollar cryptocurrency and blockchain ecosystem to facilitate the swift, cheap, and to facilitate the swift, cheap, and efficient movement of funds. And its reach has gone beyond just facilitating transfers. The firm has joined hands with the Prince of Buganda Kingdom in Uganda. Together, they are building a blockchain-powered clean energy program that will bring electricity to 25% of Ugandan households. Crypto has met Uganda, and the result is revolutionary. Bus drivers and exorbitant fees. By now, most people know just how expensive it is to send money across the borders in Africa. The World Bank rates exchange exchange in the continent as the highest in the world. Nevertheless, people from different countries venture into their neighboring countries in search of opportunities. If they do find work, they have to send money back home to their families. That's when the real effect of those exorbitant charges is felt. While our founder, Tricia Martinez, explains why sending money home is a gamble. In the blog post, Tricia tells the story of Obert, an Uber driver who piles his trade in Cape Town, South Africa, but hails from Zimbabwe, a neighboring country. Obert has has to send money home to his family, but the infrastructure is in place is either too expensive or inaccessible, something that we've been talking about the last few weeks. He thus has turned to other methods, and they are as risky as they can get. One method was through bus drivers. The drivers pick up the money from Obert and a host of others to deliver it to Zimbabwe at an agreed time and place. This method is quite risky. For one, Obert has to rely on trustworthiness of the drivers. Should the drivers run with the money, there is little he can do. The drivers could also get robbed, losing Obert his hard-earned money. As if these challenges weren't enough, the service isn't cheap either. Obert has to part with 7% of his transaction amount. A fast, reliable, cheap, and efficient funds transfer channel couldn't come faster for Obert. Well, launched the dollar protocol and marketplace in April 2018, and the reception was incredible. In its first 30 days, Wallah Android app was downloaded 57,000 times. The app was only available in three countries: South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Uganda, making the achievement even more noteworthy. In Uganda, only Facebook and WhatsApp were downloaded more times that month. As Tricia revealed a month later, the app had 4,400 daily active users who completed 172,000 transactions. These transactions included purchasing of airtime, paying for water and electricity bills, and even paying for school fees. As a testament to huge market share that microtransaction have in Africa, the average transaction was a mere 27 cents. The app completes such microtransactions at zero fees, giving its users further freedom to transact as they wish. While uses Dollar Crypto and ERC20 token to power Dollar protocol. Dollar is a multi-chain crypto which relies on Stellar to settle transactions and Ethereum for the wallet. While the two companies are related, the Dollar is an open protocol and can be used to power other networks. While Wala is based in Cape Town, South Africa, its biggest impact has been in the East African nation of Uganda. Wala has partnered with CleanPath Emerging Markets, and together they are launching a blockchain-powered gigawatt-scale solar program. The program has also received the support of the Ugandan government through its Ministry of Energy. CPEM will run its partner and vendor contracts as well as its ledger on the dollar platform, allowing Ugandans who get connected to the grid to pay for their power bills using the dollar tokens. CPEN will, CPEN workers will also be paid in dollar. Trisha explained why this was a natural next step. The numbers, quote, the numbers we've seen since the launch of dollar has been staggering, and a large portion of current users are Ugandan. So this partnership is a natural next step to allow users to the opportunity to further benefit from using the dollar. This is a very long article, and I think you guys should actually read it. It's actually it's not a really long article, but it's an actually a very good article that you should read, so you understand some of the developments that's happening on the continent and see how far advanced they are than what people are doing over here. Lionel, you have anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, like you said, they are more advanced, or they're more receptive to this different form of currency. As we know over here, it's not that we're not receptive to it. It's just the culture here, which is guided by the media, which tells us, oh, first they tell us only pedophiles and criminals use this, so it's already it has a negative connotation to it. So we don't want to use it. Then on top of that, many of us don't know about what they're talking about in the first place. Um, you would think that we're, and I'm just basing this off what they are using this Walla and Dollar for to solve. You would think that a lot more African Americans or Black Americans, whichever word you want to use, will be receptive to this because of what it's solving, because of what it's doing to help. I've even gotten questions from people that are adults and asking, "Hey, how can I get a bank account when they've had their past bank accounts shut down because of whatever reasons, whatever nefarious acts or whatever um, they wanted to keep in the balance?" And these are adults, which means the people in these other quote unquote third world countries, they don't have bank accounts to fund, so they're using this as ways to have bank account and transfer money, to keep from getting robbed, to keep from getting their money taken. So you'd think that more Black Americans would be receptive to it, and instead of Africa being, instead of we guiding Africa, them looking at us as an example of what we should be doing, I think you're starting to see Africa being an example of what we looking at Africa and being an example of what we should be doing.
I think we have a first world convenience. You know, our attitude is because we are a developed nation. I mean, if our states were countries, and if all these states that are now countries had their own currency, then we would be we would have the same experience as the brother from Uganda that works in South Africa. Then it would be a practical use case for us. But America is such a big country. I mean, we travel. We most of us, many of us, live our entire life and never leave America
Or their own zip code. Go
or
ahead.
their own. Yes,
Abdul, go ahead.
Oh, I got nothing on it.
You got 5 on it?
I mean, crypto. I'm not really. I'm watching it, but it's like one of them things where I'm not really into it. I mean, it's interesting, but I'm not. I even have some crypto somewhere. I got a wallet on my old desktop. I got to look up, but It's not that much. It's like a fraction of Bitcoin, but I missed the bubble, unfortunately, and I can't hang. I can't put 5 on it. I missed the bubble. I missed
whatever
the
you
bus.
whatever you do, don't let anybody have access to that wallet.
Yeah.
Yes.
It sounds like Abdul and I are in the same boat. I don't really have. I mean, all this is interesting, but my primary interest in it is trading it to make money off of it. Now, from listening to the Black Brain Trust, I can foresee how it can be useful to me when I go to Africa again. Now, that at some point I can see how it can make travel easier.
Hmm.
But my primary interest is to trade it.
Now, Dollar Will, I agree with what you said because we live in a first world cushion. We don't see this as beneficial. We said, well, we already got what we need here. Why would we um, need to do anything else? But then also, I when people say that, not what you said, what when people say, we already have what we have here, that's a lack of knowledge on what you people may think, well, I don't need to get better. I already have what makes me comfortable here. That lack of continuing to explore, continuing to make yourself and your plight better. So I and I agree. People will say, we live in a first world country, so there's no need. They
Well,
don't see.
tell me this, Lionel. I mean, just like the brother in Uganda who works in South Africa and he has to give money to a bus driver he doesn't know to get money back to his wife and kids. That currency solves a problem. Now, tell me in America, what problem does cryptocurrency solve for us?
What's
I
the
mean,
union?
currency exchange. I
Well,
mean,
that's if I'm sending it out of. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, okay, 'cause it's the same. I guess he's sending money from South Africa to Uganda, but for
Payday
them,
loans.
they send money because they work in they live in one country and work in another country. They do many more. Uh, uh, transfers across from one country to another than we do. I mean, I would venture to say most, probably 80, 90% of us have never sent money to another country.
I have, and that stuff is expensive.
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah, I
mean,
have.
there are a lot of Africans and Caribbeans who are here that do send money back on a regular basis. So I think that what Lionel is kind of pointing to is that there's nothing in that African Americans are doing right now that is innovative in reference to where people on the continent are. I mean, we've talked about this before, but you have rolling blackouts, you have infrastructure issues over in Africa, and there seems to be an urgency on their behalf to do something. But when you try to have a conversation with African Americans about this type of stuff, they just look at you like you're speaking a different language. Like, why do I need to do anything?
Right,
Right.
because it's
So
not a problem. It's not an immediate problem for us.
what are
Yeah,
the problems that African Americans have that need to be solved? Because you
That
have a continent that is extremely poor, and then you have African Americans who are poor but don't see the urgency to do anything. But then people on the continent see an urgency to do something. I mean, to build an app, to build a blockchain based cryptocurrency and all that stuff, that takes a lot of effort. Lionel can tell you that just doing front end coding is difficult.
It is. It's, yeah, yeah. But their need is greater than our need. Like you said, Mike, we there are poor black people here, but there's no need because we're living
we
in this country.
yeah, we have. I mean, I hate to admit it. I mean, I'm not rich, so it's not left else, unfortunately, left. But but I hate to say that word, but I mean, yeah. I still have access, even just like anybody else. I mean, it's not like it. If it's like 1960 or something like that, where you couldn't open a bank account just because it's basically because of the color of your skin or something like that, or you couldn't do certain transactions or something like that. I'd be like, it's on it, it's on like Donkey Kong. Let's make something. But I still see that, yeah, it is a need just for I don't know, I guess just for, I guess, pride or something like that, or innovative pride or whatever, just to make a blockchain technology or something like that. I mean, um it does seem kind of complicated, but for somebody that's into that, I'm sure they know how to go about getting the right people involved, or getting the technology together, or information to start one. But as far as being an African in America, I don't have the same access issues as that Ugandan um, bus driver, or Zimbabwean Uber driver in Cape Town. I drive my Uber in Podunk, Chicago, when I used to drive Uber.
Yeah.
So, and I don't have issues sending money. So it's like, yeah. I mean,
So the question is,
yeah.
go ahead and finish.
No, that's it.
No, so what? So the question is, what are the problems that African Americans have, Black people in America have, or ADOS, ADOS, this new growing demographic that seems to be very vocal. What are the issues that they have that need to be solved?
Our issues revolve around proper training for the job opportunities that the economy has plentiful for us right now. We have the wrong training for the economy as it exists today.
I agree with Dollar Will, but to go more in depth into it, Black people have a problem economically, period. I would say from the root all the way to the top of the stem of the leaf of the tree. I mean, you could start a whole hangout just on that, but we just collectively have just all kind of problems economically. Just look at Asians as for example. They're a small, just tip of the iceberg is in the United States, but they are the most wealthiest per capita. If percentage wise, that you chunk them all together, they even have more wealth than whites in this country. Why?
Well, I tell you what. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Abdul.
Yeah, I mean, just one thing. They practice economic inclusion, basically. If I'm not correct, they basically they use their wealth within their collective, and they also trade from abroad to their neighboring countries and other Asian countries to get goods, and bring them back to America. And we don't do that. only a small percentage of us do that. I admit I don't. I need to go abroad to the continent and try to do some type of trade or something like that.
Yeah, I will say I'll meet Lionel and Mike halfway on this regard. If we don't, it's hard to compare and contrast first world Africans, let's say dispersed Africans from not first world continental Africans or other of places throughout the diaspora, just because our economic systems are we're in a very mature economy, and so our problems are different. So if you say to me that we Black Americans are not, our relationship with new technologies is, we're not seizing, taking advantage of new technologies to help improve our situation, I'll agree. Okay, so if we make this subject about technology and not cryptocurrency, then I agree with you. No, we're not using what's available to full effect to improve our situation. But but the focus for us is not necessarily cryptocurrency, where where cryptocurrency solves an immediate problem for a lot of people on the continent, where you have all these small countries where
Mm,
people go across lines a lot.
mm.
I mean, black people do okay as far as black people have a large, a vast middle class. Yeah,
Whoa. We have to
yeah,
be careful about who we talking about.
yeah.
Is it those immigrant black people, or is it ADOS? Is it the ADOS? Because
Uh,
they want to be specific about
No,
I
black
mean,
people are black people for purpose.
I look at black people. I don't kind of,
Now, when we start
hey.
passing out butter biscuits, then I'm gonna tell you who. But we're not talking butter biscuits right now. We're just talking black people.
But what good is being middle class when you don't have nobody else to rely on? You can't,
Oh,
you look at the Jews. The Jew can a Jewish person on average can go to he could go to Hezekiah or Ezekiel and get a $10,000 loan at no interest or whatever, and he's got it and got more, and we you'll be hard pressed to go to somebody. I don't even know anybody to go to get a $10,000 investment or a hundred
can I
thousand
ask
dollar
a
investment.
fundamental
But
question?
technology could solve that problem, though. If we use blockchain and other technologies to so that we could create a social network which identifies who has the money, and that's one. Who's willing to loan the money? That's two. And then what are the qualifications that a borrower has to have in order to get the money? So that's all that technology is there. We just have to make use of it, for us. But and so that lack of initiative that Lionel was implying that we don't have, I agree. And when it comes to just technology in general, he's right.
Hey, can I ask a very fundamental question?
Yeah.
Um, is
Yeah,
do either one of you all define middle class? What makes a person middle class, or give us
50,
some,
50.
or
I was.
or and finish,
let him finish the question first.
Oh, okay.
or guide us to somewhere where we can people can read on what would make a qualified person as middle class.
Yeah, I would say, and I statistically, I think they would agree. Lower middle class is like 30K or higher, and it depends on where you live. Because middle class in let's say Chicago is different as far as your cost of living and being able to basically just survive or whatever or fit in with the cost of living. But I would say 30K is lower middle class to upper middle class would be like 100K or above, and middle like just middle class would be like in the middle, the medium I'll say is like 50K.
I would say, first of all, I personally, I don't use that term middle class. I prefer to say middle income, because class is a loaded kind of word that introduces values and all other kinds of things and what your aspirations are and all, gets into
Oh,
a lot of other stuff. So I just like to talk about the money and say middle income. And there are websites you can Google it, it'll tell you what it is. But generally what it is if people that have enough money to not to have a house, a car, be able to pay their bills without much stress. They could, buy food without much stress, but you still have to work. So you live in a middle income area. You don't live in the rich part of town, but you don't live in the poor part of town. So generally, right in the middle.
Okay.
Now, was there a reason why you asked the fundamental?
Well, because we throw that around a lot, and I don't think people have a base knowledge of where to understand when people say, well, middle income people are not paying their rent. Middle income people are not doing this or not doing that. So when people say, well, this qualifies the person as middle income,
Hmm.
then they can
Okay.
say, "Wow, if those person, if they could then say, well, I don't exactly reach that status, and if reports come out and say, well, middle income people are not paying this, then people that are listening to this could then say, wow, if those people are not paying whatever, then this is pretty real. They
But
have a
but if
more real world example or of what the article is trying to say.
but it's also like if you live in California in like the Los Angeles area, you're making 30K, you might be in a tent somewhere. You know, the same as New York. That or you got probably 5 roommates. You know,
Look,
uh,
you can live in DC making $100,000. You're not driving a new car. Or if you are, you kind of struggling. If you paying a mortgage and you blinging, you trying to drive a Mercedes or something, you're not flashing. So it's like you said, I agree with that duel. It just kind of varies by city. $120,000. You still in the middle class. So middle class is a broad middle income is a broad category. It could start as low as say your truck driver, your entry level truck driver, which might be around 50K. Okay, and that could take you all the way up to 120. You still could be middle class,
Yeah,
middle
in
income.
DC, even in DC, I mean, like you said, you won't be driving a brand new Mercedes. You might be driving an Acura TL though.
Right.
a
Man,
2000 and in
man,
2010.
come on, man. Let me be low key with my Acura, man.
Tint the windows if you want to
I
be
might
low
be
key.
trying to creep out the club or something. I mean, there's a reason why I got an avatar. I'm just that dude at the next table making it rain. Okay.
Hey, Acuras are low key cars. I have to agree with
Act right. You better know how to act right.
you. Yeah.
All right, let me jump to this next article. Actually, let me go back to the chat because Nate has something to say. What's going on, Complex Design? Um, he says, Mike, the answer is a productive culture for most of the community. Currently, it is relegated to isolated areas or groups. Any one of y'all want to take a stab at what he's saying? He's replying to my question about what is it that African Americans, what are the problems that African Americans do face, and he's replying to that question.
Is he saying that the problems are
He said
the culture?
the answer is a productive culture for most of the community. Currently, it is relegated to isolated areas or groups.
I mean, basically,
Now
it sounds. Oh,
I'm sorry.
but
He could also be answering the question, "What's middle income? What's middle class?"
No, he was replying back to that question of what are the problems that black
Yeah.
people. I'm looking at the time of it.
it sounds like what he's saying is what I was saying. I mean, well, similarly, a collective code or culture of conduct or groupthink per se, because Asians, they tend to be on groupthink where they have the same type of mindset and thinking. They tend to kind of be more of a collective.
Well, because
Uh,
they speak one common language too.
yeah. I strongly think that. I mean, I'm all for English, but I think Black people need to start their own language or go pick
Or
one
adopt one.
language. Yeah, pick one language in Africa, where it be Mandinka or Yoruba or Hausa, and learn how to speak another language.
I
Because I
think it
think,
would be a Nigerian language because since Nigeria is slated to be one of the largest economies in Africa, especially West Africa, since it's closer to us,
yeah,
I would think it would be either Nigerian or at least a Ghanaian.
yeah, I think that that we probably don't stand a chance, but I think like our children or even children's children should have like some type of school where you can you could learn another language, another Bantu language or something that, because I think language is definitely a weapon. Because
It
just think about it. If you don't know what the hell I'm saying, that's like almost That's powerful. I could be saying, go get the knife, and then you don't know. I mean, or I could be saying something that is like top secret, but you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, culturally, on one level, I agree, but I would say primarily, I think our first mission should be to make sure we all get a skill to make some money, because broke is broke in every language.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but in reference,
Money.
yeah, but in reference to what Abdul is saying, he's saying that the Chinese people tend, or the Asians tend to stick together because of they have a different sort of culture. And I think that's kind of, he's replying back to what Nate is saying in the chat.
Right, right. But I don't think that's because of language. I mean, a language
No,
is a part of it. They are a what do you call it? A homogeneous people. They Nothing separated them.
that's
So
an insult, Dollar. That's an insult. What did you call him?
Or
well, actually, you know what? Yeah, you know what? That is insulting
He called them homogeneuses.
Oh man, that you with the
no, because
ADL coming here.
no, right, because no, yeah, I'm sorry about that, because wait a minute, because we just said, I was thinking of one particular, uh, like Asian ethnic group. I wasn't trying to put them all under one banner, but I said Asian, but I was thinking of one, because when you say that they basically implying they stick together, they don't always stick together. Only the
Where
ones
is
that are
that?
only let me hear me out. Hear me out. Only the ones that are of the same ethnic culture stick together. Okay,
Where,
so that would be all Chinese or whatever. It wouldn't be all Asians that they all stick together with all
yeah, I
Asians.
think so. I think they do.
No, they don't.
no, they
No,
don't. They don't.
no,
They
they
don't.
don't. No. I know that very well. No, they don't.
They don't.
They stick together within their ethnic tribe, not across Pan Asia. No.
Where's that guy, that Chinese guy, when you need him?
Oh,
The one
Chang.
that comes, Chang, yeah.
Oh, Chang, Chinese ambassador.
Yeah, I
No,
wish he would
no, I,
chime in on
I,
this.
no, I spent some time. I used to teach at uh, a for a period, several years, several summers, a Asian Journalism Association, and it was Asian with Pan Asian, like we talking about, and it was amazing listening to them meet each other for the first time. They don't know each other. There's variation within their cultures, and as an African American, we assume that there's a greater affinity among them than there is.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like big eye opener for me, just to sit there and just like really get my mind blown. Especially seeing people that we would call Asian and they speak only English. And we would assume that, okay, surely you speak your tribe, a language of your ethnic group. Nope, not necessarily. But still the values
They trade with
the
each other,
value,
though.
but their values can survive even when they may not even speak the language.
Yeah, they trade with each other, though.
Yes.
You know,
But that's mostly
Chinese.
again within the ethnic group.
Yeah, the Chinese, the Koreans,
Like in
they
DC,
all
we have what city are you in, Abdul?
Chicago.
Do you guys have you guys of course have a Chinatown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Do
yeah.
you have a Koreatown?
No.
I'm not sure.
I
The
don't think
Koreans probably are within Chinatown too. I mean,
Hey,
I don't know.
I do. What side of Chicago you from? I'm on the south side.
I'm in the south suburbs
Okay.
in Matson right now. But
All right, you
I'm
out there.
yeah, I pretty much was like on 91st and Jeffrey,
Okay.
whereabouts here. Yeah.
Southeast. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a big Chinatown, but no Koreatown.
Yeah, because I think LA, a Complex Design can confirm this. I think they have separate. They have a Chinatown, they have a Koreatown, and Complex can tell how's it in LA. Do they, are they tight, tightly woven, the Chinatown and Koreatown, or how does that work? We just culturally curious today. We wandered a little bit, but I want to know the answer to this. The Jedi Focus says the Chinese, by and large, don't like Japanese. Now that's true, but
Well, you're breaking up a lot.
picking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot. If you could log off and log back on, that would be great.
Okay.
All right, next article is from investing.com. 3 reasons NIO, China's Tesla, should be on your radar. In case you never heard of it, NIO Inc., a Shanghai-based automobile manufacturer specializing in designing and developing electric autonomous vehicles, the company, which has been dubbed the Tesla of China, was founded 4 years ago and listed on New York Stock Exchange this past September, raising $1.8 billion. It currently offers 2 main models: the ES6, which is a 5-passenger SUV with a 358,000 yuan or $52,000 price tag, and the ES8, which is an upscale 7-passenger 3-row SUV positioned as a domestic Chinese alternative to Tesla Model X. It's priced at 448,000 yuan or $65,000 US versus the Model X sticker price of $113,000. NIO's third model, the EP9, is an electric-powered two-seater sports car, which the company claims is one of the world's fastest electric cars. Its 1,360 horsepower engine propels it to 160 miles an hour in 7.1 seconds. Only 6 have been sold so far at a hefty $1.2 million apiece. Besides the incredible upside, the entire electric vehicle industry, thus for the company as well.
I never heard of these guys.
Well, they're Chinese. 1, accelerating sales in China. NIO delivered a total of 11,348 vehicles in 2018, over fulfilling their respective sales target, among which 3,318 units were handed over in December alone. The company is already outselling Tesla in China by a wide margin, as the U.S. electric automaker has struggled under trade war tariffs, which have driven up the price of its Model X SUV and Model 3 sedan. China is the world's largest and fastest growing market for new energy vehicles, a category comprising of electric battery cars and plug-in electric hybrids. China's new energy vehicle sales shot up 61.7% year on year to 1.256 million units. That's a lot of cars, according to sales data released in China Association of Automobile Manufacturers. Looking beyond China, NIO has ambitions to expand into Europe and the U.S. in the next 2 to 3 years, according to Jack Cheng. No relation to Scholar Cheng. One of the founders of NIO and now the CEO of XPT, NIO's powertrain division, he says it's the first vehicle to market to the European standard already, so we will be able to take the first step in Europe. Then we can begin moving into the U.S. because it's a more critical market. Number 2, big time investor backing. The buzz about NIO, or NEO, I should say, increased following reports that UK investment management firm and Tesla investor Bally Gifford acquired an 11.4% stake in the Chinese company on October 9th. The firm owns 85.3 million NEO shares. The company said in a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. let me just skip to three real quick. Bullish technical picture. Since shares began trading on September 12th, the stock hit a high of $13.80 and a low of $5.62 at yesterday's closing price. That represents a gain of around 19.4% from its IPO price of $6. From a technical standpoint, the stock broke above key resistance near $8.30 level on February 6th, before pulling back into a constructive manner towards a 50-day moving average at around $7. The stock needs to hold this level before successfully refreshing or retesting its recent breakout price. So, number one, it's fastest growing brand in China, and number two, it has big backing. What say you, Lino?
I was kind of hoping the complex to be on here for this one, but in terms of well, I'll say in terms as far as me, what I think about the article, like you said, they those a lot of units. Faster. Did I can't remember? Did they say anything about the battery? About the if the battery is better or not?
It's supposed to be better.
Okay, so it's faster. Um, at some point in time, they're going to throw quick charging in there. I just saw a video about Marquise Brownlee. He was saying how there was when he got his Tesla back, but he was driving gas powered vehicles. That there was a he learned to be with electric vehicles, and it was comforts in electric vehicle that he had to get back used to with power vehicle. So I said to say faster, charge. I might as well just say charge faster. Um, they're selling a lot. It being a Chinese brand, and China has this. Depending on who you talk to, who you listen to, their economy is doing great. Yeah, I think this is not nobody to turn your nose up at. Yeah, they should be on your radar because right now, and especially China is more receptive to this new technology because they are already in AI, they are already in blockchain, they are already in IoT. As far as in America, Tesla is not having the easiest time being incorporated in America, but in China, this can do numbers like we like the chart has already told us.
Mm-hmm. Abdul, you got anything you want to add to this?
Oh yeah. I've never heard of them. I'm quite interested in that car that they have. This like I don't know 1.2 million. It goes 1,300. It's got 1,300 horsepower. As it goes from zero to what they say 160 in 7 seconds. that's a that's like a freaking jet on four wheels. Like I mean that is crazy, man. I mean, but I never heard of them. I think it's another company. I think it's called Faraday or something like that. It's an electric car company. I'm not sure if that's a Chinese company too, or if I got the
It's
name right.
yeah, it's Faraday Future.
Oh yeah, okay. Are they Chinese too, or
They were. We'll see if they're still gonna be a company here
oh
because
okay,
yeah, they're right now they're in litigation. So
oh
there's
okay,
a battle over that company right now. So the Chinese government basically there's an event the government group that owns a majority share in that company is trying to get it back from the
oh
guy
okay,
who brought it here. Yeah.
oh okay. Yeah, I never heard of Nio. I'm definitely gonna be looking out for them now.
Yeah, you can Neo it's the Neo EP9 that car that's what put them on the map because that car basically displays all of their automotive technology. Um, so if you want to see like basically what 5G does, there's a video on YouTube of that car basically setting a track record at Circuit of the Americas in Texas, out in Austin, where it drove the circuit by itself at the highest average speed that any car has ever driven that thing by itself. And I think the average speed was like 150 miles an hour or something like that. So a car just zipped around the track and it just drove itself. So they've done that. That car set that record there, and then it's also set the Nürburgring record. Like what a driver, I think was it Peter Dumbreck? I think he was driving it. Like Paul Bryant might know. Um, that car set the record at the Nürburgring. I think it was like 7 minutes or like a sub 7 minute lap. So with electric drivetrain, electric cars starts, got a little yapper back there. With electric drivetrain, you're able to control the car, the movements of the wheels through algorithm. So what Mike was talking about. There's a UK-based investment firm that's purchased a large chunk of Neo, and the fact of the matter is that you have like kind of like a technological arms race, largely with the automotive sector. There's just a lot of companies that are just going to like kind of go by the wayside in all of this, and the new firms have all of the new tech. That's really just what it all boils down to. So you're going to start to see the money and the economics of the automotive industry shift into where the new tech sectors are, because it's tech that's underlying all of this. And what's been the booming sector over the last 15 years? It's been tech. So wherever tech goes, that's where the money goes, and it's going into the automotive sector, primarily into electric cars. And then the Chinese basically have they have the supply source on lock. So
Yeah,
they're strategically put in place to be a major player in the global automotive market.
yeah, and I'm also watching China too, because China has so much money. I mean, so much wealth, and it's such a small country compared to like the United States. A lot
You mean
more
a small
people though.
economy? You mean a small economy?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
China's huge, man.
yeah.
Way
So
bigger country, but yeah, smaller economy.
yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, I look at China like it just it got so much money to just basically splurge with. You know, it's just like, man, I'm thinking, damn, how can I get some of that money? Shoot, be honest, but
You do
whole nother
business with them.
subject.
No,
Yeah,
you do business with them. That's how.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how those car sales go once General Motors really gets into the electric car market, because their sales are pretty good in China.
they said that. And I wait, did they say that they were gonna count? Because it was a list of cars. I don't know if you guys talked about this. A list of cars that GM said that they were gonna scratch, and I know the Impala was on there, which so I'm scratching my head on that because I love
Yeah,
Impala.
all of the sedans are going away.
All sedans.
Yeah.
And is the Volt scratched out too, or
No, those are their emerging market vehicles, but all of those are just gonna have evolving products. I don't know what their portfolio looks like, but because it went from the Volt to the Bolt, so
yeah?
their products are evolving. They're not gonna stop until they get an electric Escalade. So,
So
but
yeah,
but in terms of the American automotive manufacturers, they're moving to being more of a mobility company rather than an auto manufacturing company. So that's why you're seeing them snatch up all of the electric scooter brands and electric bike brands, ride sharing platforms, because that's their focus now.
Yeah, about those driverless cars. flying and speeding around the racetrack. Doesn't that sound like the toys we had as kids? Somebody's just gonna hand us a remote control, and we're gonna be sitting in the stands
It's
controlling a
funny.
real car.
It's funny that you mentioned that because it's like I bought some China merch. I bought a small little Jeep for my little girls, and they're like 2 and 3 years old, so they don't know how to use a power wheel. So it comes with the remote. So I actually just it's like I'm playing with a big RC car with some kids in it.
So was
Yeah,
that toy for them or for you?
both. Actually, I had fun using it like an RC, and they was, they got a kick out of it. They wanted to use it when it was cold. I was like, nah, it's too cold. But yeah.
Hello?
Whoa, they got kicked off. Okay, they got both of them at the same time.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you back on now? I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I'm here.
Abdul.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know how the call hanged up, but I'm back.
Yeah, got you and Complex at the same time.
Yeah.
Next article.
And we're back. It's up to you guys. You guys are driving. Unless you handed us the remote control.
How? Mike may be away. Um, yeah, that's a fast car, man. That's excuse me, a really fast car. Would you drive a electric car, dollar wheel?
When I drive it, is driving still going to exist? See, that's my problem with all this. I enjoy driving, but it sounds like they're trying to eliminate driving.
Yeah, I like driving, but driving over an hour, nah.
Agreed. Agreed. I want the option. I want the choice. You know.
That's electric vehicles, not autonomous electric vehicles.
Okay, gotcha. So, okay, all right. So, How long do you think we're going to? How long? Do you think that we will end up with all vehicles being autonomous, and that electrical vehicles are just a bridge? If your answer is yes, how long do you think that bridge will be between electrical to all autonomous? If you think that's the way it's going to go.
I think that's a question for complex.
I'm sorry, it dropped off. I think I caught the last part of your question there, Dollar Will.
It was convoluted, but let me see if I can restate it clearer. Do you think that eventually all cars will be autonomous and electric vehicles are just a bridge technology to that? Let me just get a yes or no to that first.
Yeah, I mean, in the long run, yeah. In the
Okay,
long run, yeah.
okay. How long a period is this bridge period of electric vehicles? Do you think? How long is that period gonna last?
Well, no. Well, the thing is that autonomous vehicles are built on electric vehicle technology, right? You can have an autonomous vehicle, but you can't have like full autonomy unless it's on an electric platform,
What
right?
I'm
Like you can make a gas car self-drive, right? You could do that, but to have a fully autonomous car, it has to be electric. So anything going forward, it's gonna be an electric
okay.
car.
That wasn't
They're here to stay.
that's not my question. My question, forget gas. I'm saying I'm reverse engineering the future. So you said that you believe at some point in the future all cars will be autonomous.
Yeah,
The
yeah, for the
the
most part,
near
yeah.
the near future is we're going to be electric. How,
Yeah, but the thing is that you'll have electric cars, right? And pre-installed in them, they'll have different levels of autonomy. So you'll have an electric car, but that electric car also has the ability to be fully autonomous. So
my
it's already kind of like here all at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, still the question: how
Yeah,
long
yeah.
before we get to be fully autonomous?
I would say maybe like in the next 10, 15 years.
Okay,
You mean fully autonomous where there's no actual driver.
correct,
So now you're talking about level 5 where there's no steering wheel.
Right.
You
correct.
probably won't, yeah, you won't see that for another 10 years. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we've covered, those cars are already level 4 capable, so they can drive themselves even with the driver in the driver's seat. Um, but the reason why you still have to have a steering wheel because they have not reached that certification yet. So it's just a matter of removing the steering wheel and turning and changing the whole entire platform so that it sits like a like a like a like a horse and buggy did. You know, where you have like 5 or 6 people in the horse and bug in the buggy with their backs faced. I mean, with their backs faced to the opposite ends of the vehicle. We haven't reached that
And,
level yet.
yeah, you
This,
still need more. You still need more 5G rollout. Truth to be honest.
Well, you also need charging rollout as well
Yep.
because those vehicles have to be able to charge themselves. Now, we covered in an article last summer about University of Michigan actually having autonomous buses set up. Um, that trial is either still going or it's already over. But I know they adopted the platform already. So those autonomous buses that don't have a driver and use lidar technology as well as I think there's like 4G connectivity to it. Um, those things actually work fairly well. They're slow. They go about 15 miles an hour, but that's the early stages of the technology. So if we don't interfere with the technology and we allow it to evolve on its own, then yeah, you may see that in the next 5 years because the technology changes every 18 months.
So,
Hmm.
Lionel, when you ask me, do I have what will I enjoy or do I have an interest in? I forgot your exact question. Do I have an interest in driving an electric vehicle? Well, yeah, during this period that I'm still allowed to drive, but when we get to the point of the cars being autonomous, I don't even want to own the car anymore. I'm not going to really care about the technology at that point. All I'm going to care about is that it gets me where I want to go. Once I'm no longer actively driving, then I'm not going to care.
At some point, dollar will they're going to take away your ability to buy a vehicle altogether.
Yeah.
That won't even be a case for you. So even if you do have a gas powered vehicle, the excise tax on it and the CO2 emissions is going to be so out of control. They won't even certify your vehicle. So
They'll. I
you'll have
mean
to pull
that
your vehicle off the road.
that taxation will largely serve as the reason to just kind of phase it out. Now the thing is this: you'll never get rid of internal combustion engines because there's too much of a car culture. There's too much of an industry that serves the automotive aftermarket, the classic car market, muscle car market, import performance market, right? The motorsport market. There's still a very robust industry on that end. And then there's sub industries that even support that tool and die companies, shops, manufacturers, all that. So that none of that's going to go away either. So you're still going to see a set of legislation in place to deal with gas powered vehicles. And, gasoline stations aren't going to go anywhere, right? We're not going to just cut off the spigot and stop importing oil and, or shoot, even, pumping it out of the ground here and sticking it into pumps. We're not going to do that either. So that's not going to go anywhere. You have to look at kind of like a split in terms of like where the automotive sector is going. Heading towards the future, there's a pivot, right? Whatever's left, that's going to be what's there, and they're not going to really do much to like grow it out or really put any sort of infrastructure investments into it per se. If anything, like I said, that they'll tax it, right, just to get people to get rid of cars who really just don't want them, and then like the guys who are like collectors and stuff like that, and they'll pay what's necessary.
I think when we get to the point of autonomous vehicles, we're going to have another baby boom because people going to fill that time up that they're not using driving.
All right, this next article is from Reuters.com. Feeling unwelcome, Amazon ditches plans for New York hub. Amazon.com Incorporated abruptly scrapped plans to build major outposts in New York that could have created 25,000 jobs, blaming opposition from local leaders upset by their nearly $3 billion in incentive promised by state and city politicians. The company said on Thursday it did not see consistently, quote, positive collaborative relationships with the state and local officials. Opponents of the project feared congestion and higher rents in the Long Island City neighborhood of Queens and objected to handling billions in incentives to a company, handing billions of incentives to a company run by Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man. State Senator Michael Gianaris, who represents Queens and was a vocal critic of the deal, told a news conference on Thursday that the Amazon subsidies were unnecessary. Quote, this was a shakedown, pure and simple, he said. Amazon's sudden pullout from New York City prompt finger pointing by Mayor Bill de Blasio and New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo. The politicians who crafted the deal, Cuomo angrily blamed the loss on local politicians while de Blasio blamed Amazon. Cuomo said in a statement that a small group of politicians had, quote, put their own narrow political interests above those of New Yorkers. The year-long search for its so-called HQ2 culminated in the Amazon picking Northern Virginia and New York after hundreds of municipalities from Newark, New Jersey to Indianapolis competed for the conveyed tax dollars and high-wage jobs for the project promised. Amazon said it would not conduct a new headquarters search and would focus on growing at other existing and planned offices. The company already has more than 5,000 employees in New York City and plans to continue to hire them, although Amazon said on Thursday. A CNN College poll conducted earlier this month found 56% of the registered voters in New York supported the Amazon deal, while 36% opposed it. Some New Yorkers mounted protests after the deal was announced, angered by the $2.8 billion in incentives promised to Amazon and fearing further gentrification in the neighborhood once favored by artists looking for a cheap studio space. U.S. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a critic of the project and a self-described democratic socialist whose district spans parts of Queens and the Bronx, shared the reversal by the world's third most valuable public company. Quote, anything is possible. Today was the day of a group of dedicated everyday New Yorkers and their neighbors defeated Amazon's corporate greed, its workers' exploitation, and the power of the richest man in the world, she wrote on Twitter. I don't want to read too much into it. It just makes me sick. But what do you guys think? We'll start with Dollar Will.
Why? Why start with Dollar Will?
Well,
what say you, right?
What say me? So what I say is they deserve not to be there. I don't see why they need any incentives to I mean, why does the richest man in the world, who owns one of the most profitable companies, need to have any tax incentives to operate in the state? What's the purpose of that? If they're large, if they're doing so well in the stock market, and this guy is so wealthy, what's the need for tax incentives? See,
because I want to bring jobs.
Well, according to them, the trickle down effect.
Right.
But the point of the matter here is they never really needed that they never really need that tax incentive. That
Yeah,
Jeff
fuck no, they
Bezos,
don't.
Jeff Bezos makes that per day.
Yeah, no, they don't need it. They don't need it. They don't need it. But look, to convince people to give it to me, well, I promise jobs. That's the trade-off. Like, look, you the way you put it, right? Common sense would say, okay, well, look, a guy who makes that kind of money in a day, how the hell is it that he needs a tax break, right? But that's not the question that we ask. We say, well, if Amazon just says, well, look, I come bearing 25,000 jobs for the Queens area or something, then that should negate any sort of ludicrous tax reduction request that I'm also proposing.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that you I didn't know how you would answer, Mike. I didn't think that we would basically agree. Okay, let me just say that right out the box. Again, we don't, I wish Preem was here because Preem and I we've been going back and forth in email on this story all day. Um, I kind of, I kind of, okay. We don't see the budget. We don't know the long range projection of the numbers. If it's a good deal for the people of the state in situations like this, I trust the electorate. Okay, big companies. I don't fault Amazon for trying to get a good deal, but I also applaud when cities stand up to corporations. We've had a lot of in the sports world, we've seen cities wise up and stop cutting these teams, these stadium deals. Cities should not feel that they have to exploit themselves just to get a big company. Also, there's the politics of Amazon getting this tax break or refund, however you want to spin it, when Google didn't get a break, and Google is in New York. So if Google can come set up shop in New York and not get a break, why can't Amazon? And if Amazon was to get a break, what would Google's response have been? So politically, I think New York did a good thing. With again, not just politically. I don't know the math. We're not looking at the numbers. And the jobs. Come on. Somebody.
Well, I would say just based on the numbers, man, like it wouldn't what he's looking for in terms of tax breaks, tax savings and stuff like that. It doesn't. I don't for the company that's valued at what it is. It's not justified. I'm sorry, Abdul.
Oh, no problem. What can somebody before this ask? I mean, tell me what whose wife needs $70 billion, and what are you gonna do with $70 billion? And I mean,
it don't matter. Me personally, I can answer that. It don't matter. It's there because she can take it, and it's there because the courts and the lawyers are going to make sure that she gets it. It don't matter if she needs it or not. Why do people? No, that's not the conversation, but it don't matter because it's there.
Yeah, that's a lot of Bitcoin.
Right, it is. It's a lot of Bitcoin, especially when it goes up. She can get richer.
Because she got the juice right now.
Right. There's no logic in that what you just asked, Abdul. There's no logic in that. So there's no sense of speaking logic. It's very illogical.
Okay.
Like the movie History of the World Part 2. It's good to be the king. Watch the movie.
Well, Paul Bryant is sounding off in the chat. He says this wasn't a political win at Dollarwell. It was a backroom politics. And Amazon chose not to pay. It was never about the people. Not in this city. The game is deep here.
So what did the politicians gain?
Well, I think that might kind of be like what the underlying. I think that is kind of what the sort of like the question mark in the room is, right? Because, okay, you got nothing, right? So what? Yeah, what was gained? Or even another
From their
question was any.
perspective, what was gained was avoiding a bad deal from their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if New York was hard pressed for the deal, they would have made it. So apparently,
Yeah, I was gonna say
they looked at
they're
it as
not
that.
broke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or they didn't see enough advantage in the deal for them to take it. You know, nobody that's in need or nobody's going to pass up a deal they consider to be good. You can't tell another person what deal they should accept. If they don't like the deal, it doesn't, sweeten the pot for them or whatever, it doesn't float their boat, they walk away from it. And
Well,
that's what they did.
but I
So
think that
it
it's
comes
a
down to how badly does Amazon want to be in New York. And they need to be in New York and New Jersey because that's a huge, rich market. And they're spending a lot of money shipping stuff to that wealthy state. So it would make a whole lot of sense if they could truck stuff to people's homes as opposed to sending an airplane.
well, and I think also it's also it's symbolic too because I think in the article Mike mentioned AOC, you know, Miss Ocasio-Cortez. And you know that if you I don't know if you maybe this is going to be on the docket. I don't know if you guys have talked about it yet, but her new Green Deal. Now, I mean, the whole basis of that whole new Green Deal is largely to stick it to companies like Amazon, right? And go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to go after you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say no. It's just to kind of you know, it's to stick it to Amazon and to redistribute the wealth.
Yeah, well, she also mentioned some. I would like to know more what she was talking about. She mentioned some buzzwords. Maybe Paul knows some buzzwords about some union issues. So maybe something to do with the pay and the conditions of workers at Amazon. And when you have a big corporation like that coming into your area and they are not going to work up to the standard that you're trying to establish for your businesses, a big company is coming in there getting ready to hire 25,000 people. They're going to pretty much establish a new standard for how workers are paid and how they're treated. So, and I'm sure I don't think that's the primary issue, but she mentioned it. So
I also think
Oh
that
yeah.
New York's minimum wage is pretty high too. I think it's like 15.50 or something like that.
Jeez.
I don't know, but I know Amazon has they were saying that because they build all of these distribution centers, but they're paying the workers like a little bit more than what Walmart is paying. So I mean, I think I remember actually when they came, I was living up north and they opened up a facility in Wisconsin. They were offering like $13 to work technical support. I mean, so and I didn't even get that job, so thank God I didn't. But I mean, they're low ballers with their wages that they pay out.
right. So, and if Walmart has a lot of people getting public assistance, and if you say to me Amazon pays just a little bit more than that,
I
now
think
you're
the
talking
difference.
about. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say I think the difference between Walmart and Amazon is that Amazon has their employees down as contractors and not as full employees, so they don't even have stake in the company. Whereas Walmart employees, I think, are actually employees.
Well, that's even worse. That's substandard because a lot of companies do that crap. They call the workers contractors,
Contractors. Yep.
so that you can't have a union come in because contractors they're essentially temporary workers. So
Well,
they can be they're at will workers, so they can be fired for no reason at all. And so now you have a company coming in, you have a strong union state like New York, and you have a major company that's getting ready to come in and hire 25,000 people, and they're gonna basically make them contractors. And that's an issue.
And Paul says it in the chat. Amazon is a non-union. Amazon is non-union. They don't pay their workers a living wages, and that's part of the problem. So I can see why, from a political perspective, why they wouldn't want New Yorkers, sort of, quote unquote, or Long Islanders, whatever you call those people up there, because New York is all fragmented to me. The wage that it would be enough to be a livable wage up there. I mean, to live
But
in New
we
York,
do, but we do know unions are strong in New York.
right, right. But what I'm saying is, to live in New York, I mean, it's like $1,800 in some of the most moderate areas for a 1 bedroom apartment. I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to afford that with Amazon Pay.
Yeah, I know. Man,
I
you
think
take.
you'll be able to afford a bathroom.
I had a gig in New York. This was back in the late '80s. Man, I don't even think we could plug a daggone power cord into a wall in a hotel. They don't play, man. You know, New York was serious like that, and Philly was serious like that. You know, and when you got to look at the politics of the union support that they probably received, that those elected officials received to get elected. And so, okay, when the union leaders call and say, we don't want Amazon unless they're gonna play ball with us with the union contract for their workers. So then you got to choose. Do you want to be reelected? You want to make enemies of the union, or you want to, make friends with Amazon? Oh, that's a tough one. So you say out of here, Amazon, unless you're gonna cop to some of these union friendly policies, worker friendly policies. So I'm not saying that's the driving thing. I'm just throwing it up there because she mentioned it.
Now they could have put it in Chicago, because Chicago has a lot of space, and a lot of unemployment in Chicago is something like 48%. For black men. So
isn't Chicago a strong union town?
Yeah,
it is.
So guess what? The other state they're talking about, Northern Virginia. Virginia is a right to work state. That's a hostile area for unions. No coincidence.
Oh no.
Yeah. Plus, people there love their cousins and whatnot. So.
No, that's West Virginia. That's not.
Tenderly.
I always thought all of them were the same. No,
they should.
What about ABL?
They should put it in. They should put it in. They should put it in Mississippi, because I mean the way the rates they pay. I mean that's you could probably survive really well in Mississippi.
Well,
man, look, if they put it in Mississippi,
people to work. The population of Mississippi is too small.
Well, I was going to say, if they were going to put it in Mississippi, they just put it in the jails there, the prisons. That's where most of the labor gets done anyway.
The population of Mississippi at the entire state is 2.9 million people. That's Chicago that got that.
Send all angry comments to Mike V regarding comments about West Virginia.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a state.
Right.
You just thought it was the western part of Virginia?
I just thought that the population was one, ABL. Shiny face there. Anyways,
You talking about Mr. Potato Head?
All right, this one is from SeekingAlpha.com. Update on Sirius XM connected vehicle business. The Sirius XM Holdings Connected Vehicle Services, or CVS, business unit was purchased from Agero for $530 million just over 5 years ago. And ever since then, Sirius has failed to break out the revenue performance of that business. To be fair, in early 2014, CEO Jim Meyer gave out initial expectations that the CVS business would generate close to $100 million of revenue this year, and we expect to grow this at strong double-digit rates over the next many years. We are in the process of fully integrating the CV business into SiriusXM, and its financial results are embedded in our global in our guidance today. At an early stage growth, we expect the connected vehicle service product line to contribute at or near break even on an EBITDA basis in 2014. But with the high variable margins, a relatively low capex um, profile, and substantial scaling in the business as penetration expands, we see many similarities in the financial profile of connected vehicle services and satellite radio. In 2014, we expect connected vehicle services, excluding our existing traffic business, to approach $100 million in revenue. In the course of the next 3 years, we expect connected vehicle service revenue will double and will continue to grow at higher rates for many years to come. Let's do some simple arithmetic. $100 million in 2014, and quote, in the course of the next 3 years, bringing us to 2016, will double, bringing us up to 200 million. Expected expected to then grow at a strong double-digit rates over the next many years. How large is a strong double-digit rate? Certainly more than 10%. How about 15%? 10% per year from $200 million in 2016 would put the revenue at $220 million in 2017 and $242 million in 2018. 15% per year would, from $200 million in 2016, would put the revenue at $230 million in 2017 and $264 million in 2018. Sirius XM, Dollar Will, what do you think?
I actually got pulled away. Are you telling me that I didn't really hear all of that story? So are you saying that they making the money? Did they break even for what it cost them to acquire that business or not? Are they
No,
making
no,
money?
it has not. It has not. They spent $530
Yeah.
million for it over 5 years ago, and they've only been able to pull in up to $264 million in 2018. So they've lost $220 million on that deal.
Right, because I think we were talking about this maybe a month or so ago when I was saying that a problem when they were giving away when Sirius XM was giving away subscriptions with new cars, and so we know new car sales are down, so that's going to hurt them, and B, there was a problem with people not subscribe or renewing their subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So if they're not making their money, so between new car sales being down and people not renewing their subscriptions, there you go.
I thought it was a troublesome acquisition. I really did because I really didn't see the longevity in of it. So okay, again, yeah, let's look at it. Car sales go down, subscription count goes down because car sales are going down. Then you have other what they call ICE or what's it called internal something entertainment in car entertainment. I'm sorry, there it is. In car entertainment options. So you can use your phone since you're already paying for a device that has connectivity to the stereo system in your car, and you're already paying for things like a Hulu, you're paying for Spotify, you're paying for a lot of stuff. You have, unlimited data on your phone. Well, do you really need Sirius XM? It's like there's so many different options now, so you really have to kind of look at the viability of a subscription radio model now in 2019.
You know what? I didn't even think about that, but yeah, Sirius, I actually lost. I lost out on a lot of money I could have made. I went small on them when they went out of bankruptcy. They was like 38 cent in 2009. And they just broke away and it went up to like $3, and then now I think they're like four and change. But yeah, they just been stagnant And I think it's linked to car sales. I mean, and then what you're saying definitely I believe has some role to play in that with people using their aux cords.
Mm-hmm.
And like what how we open the show tonight, if a lot of people are 90 days behind on their car note, you think they paying their serious subscription?
Now you're either 90 days late on the car note, but current on the subscription.
Mm.
Nah, they watching YouTube. They listening to us. That's what they doing.
Well, don't forget that they got Pandora now too. So Pandora has actually been proven to be very beneficial as an acquisition.
Yeah. I forget. Pandora is definitely.
So while car subscriptions may be down, their Pandora subscriptions are up.
Well, yeah, because they're the to have a so Pandora subscription doesn't you're not relegated to like a vehicle. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, I think you could walk around with your XM, your XM subscription and maybe access it from your phone. I'm not sure. Last
They
time
got
I
they
had
It's
got
it,
a different
Boombox too.
subscription. No,
that's okay.
it's a different subscription. So you have to sign up for the internet version of it, which I think is like $1 more, or
Right.
or maybe a separate package.
Right. There you go. See there. So, I mean, the Pandora thing kind of supersedes all of that, and it takes them into the realm of like the Spotify and all of that, where, you're basically you're actually kind of moving out of the model of in-car entertainment service provider type stuff. Hey, man, automotive market's changing.
So Abdul, you were talking about things to short. This is one.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let me get to the next article. All right, this one is from the blockchaincouncil.org. Philippines announces the new cryptocurrency regulatory framework. It was Bitcoin that had laid the foundation for a new era in digital money transaction. 2009, when the world saw Bitcoin surfacing, it was the same year when we got to know about blockchain that was the underlying technology that of Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. Wait, what are we reading? Yeah. The blockchain is a new kid in town which has taken the world by storm. Being a decade old, the technology has carved a niche for itself and has disrupted almost all of the business verticals. From healthcare to finance to supply chain management, blockchain finds application everywhere. Despite paving the way to one of the biggest revolutions, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies got surrounded with apprehensions. People still doubt its longevity and sustainability in the future. Many believe that there is little probability that cryptocurrencies will not have a secure future. The primary reason for this is the cryptocurrencies lack regulation. There is no governing authority with controls over that which controls the flow of the cryptocurrency transaction, thus making its usage doubtful. What is the reason that cryptocurrencies are not gaining global acceptance? Although we have seen the rise in the use of blockchain application when it comes to cryptocurrencies, then it has not become as popular as cryptocurrencies. Trying to figure out where we are right here. All right, I just want to read this part. The Philippines recently announced the formation of new regulations and regulatory authority that will govern crypto assets. It has introduced a new set of rules ruling digital asset token offering as per Cagayan Economic Zone Authority. This new regulatory framework will cover the acquisition of cryptocurrencies, which includes utility and security tokens, With this division, the authorities aim to safeguard the interests of cryptocurrency investors and at the same time promoting the concept of usage of cryptocurrencies. As per the new regulation passed by the Philippines, all the datos should have proper documentation related to cryptocurrencies. These documents will have all the details pertaining to cryptocurrencies issuer, project, certificate of experts, company advice. The token must be listed on a licensed offshore virtual currency exchange. As for the new set of regulations, the investment in digital tokens will be divided into three tiers that represent the range of investment. Here is the new division. Here's how the new Here's how the division will look like. Number one tier will include investments and assets is not more than $5 million. Second, the second tier will range between $6 to $10 million. The third tier will have investments above $10 million. This this press release, however, doesn't mention anything about ICO and as it was expected. As per Philippine Securities and Exchange Commission, there needs to be regulation on ICOs so that it becomes a secured platform for those who are willing to invest cryptocurrencies. PSEC issues in PSEC issues in ICO regulating documents in August 2018. As per them, any agency who is ready to run an ICO or selling ICO tokens to Filipinos must submit an initial assessment request to the regulating authority who will cross-verify the token security. The step by the Philippines showcases growing inclination of nations towards cryptocurrencies and its strong future. With regulations coming in, cryptocurrencies will become more secure and will have credibility, thus luring companies and startups to participate in ICO or bring investedness. I never even heard of that word before in this decision. At the same time, it will pave the gateway for new developments. So I knew that Southeast Asia was pretty popular with cryptocurrencies, but I was surprised to see that the Philippines didn't have any sort of regulation or any sort of framework in place.
I'll say this is a good thing. Many countries don't have regulations in place. America's still beating the ground, beating not beating the ground, but still are lagging on regulations involving cryptocurrencies. We've mentioned before, no one country wants to say we have regulations on cryptocurrencies and have to make regulations to every other cryptocurrency that don't fit that particular mold. Already, these cryptocurrencies that are already out don't fit the particular mold of regulations that was started almost 100 years ago. Now, what the Philippines did, there was a line, a sentence, and where's it at? It was saying how, as per the Cagayan Economic Zone Authority, this new regulatory framework will cover the acquisition of cryptocurrencies, which include utility and security tokens.
Hmm.
To me, that says also in the next sentence they're saying that they want to safeguard the interests of cryptocurrency investors. To me, they're saying, hey, these are the cryptocurrencies that fit in within a utility. These are the cryptocurrencies that have a utility, and these are the cryptocurrencies that are security tokens. And what that says to me is they're going to sift out the the shit tokens or the shit coins that really don't do nothing. They're just there just to be there, just to scam people. I'm for this. We all know that cryptocurrency needs regulation, some type of regulation. You can't just have a wild west forever, because people are going to get got and so forth. So I am okay with this.
Um, yeah, the only thing I could say is like for instances like the guy that died in Canada, and he had all of these passwords. I don't know if you guys talked about that, where he had all these passwords that
Yeah.
he literally died with. And they tried to hire, his wife tried to hire hackers to find the passwords because they got like over $100 million of other people's crypto assets that they can't recover, nor can she pay them, or all these pending lawsuits, and even to keep everything going afloat with the business, because she can't access the Bitcoin. You know, so in that case, yeah, but um, in the case of the Philippine government and regulation, I'm not for it overall, but in the case where you want to have some type of regulation to have people, I don't know, have some type of safeguard in case something like in the case with the guy in Canada, yeah, but I don't know. I think Filipino government, man, they have other issues they should be dealing with other than trying to figure out what's in somebody else's crypto wallet.
Hey,
Well,
hey, Abdul, what are you doing? What's all
Huh?
the noise in the background?
Oh, I don't know.
I wasn't sure if you were working in some kind of Amazon facility or something.
No.
I don't think they're trying to figure out what's in someone else's wallet. They're just trying to create regulate. To me, what the article says to me, they're trying to create regulations in terms of safeguarding investors. And now, when I say safeguarding investors, they're not knowing what is in their wallets. They're, to me, what they're trying to do is say, hey, these are cryptocurrencies that meet these regulations. Because we all know when the market was booming, there were scams everywhere. And when the market go back up, there are going to be even more scams. So you can't
Okay.
have that type of situation going on, because what's going to happen is people are going to cry and say, "Well, I lost money. These lawsuits are going to occur." There's a person still trying to sue XRP or Ripple Labs because they're saying it's an ongoing ICO. People that invest in this are not are really first time investors, and when they lose money they're going to be mad. So you got to have some type of regulation, not to say, hey, we want to know what you got, but to say, hey, these are cryptocurrencies that meet these regulations in terms of they provide a service. They provide a utility, instead of just saying, hey, I made a blockchain and this is the coin. We're faster than Bitcoin. We do more transactions. Do you know how many cryptocurrencies say that? All of them say that they're faster than Bitcoin. They don't have any use case. So I'm not saying that I'm 100% for this, but it's just a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, I just my takeaway from it is, we're past the point of discussing whether cryptocurrencies are just a fad. Okay, when you see countries making regulations, it's going to be around. That's as much as I could take from it, from at this stage, that I see countries making an effort to put the safeguards in place to protect people. So cryptocurrencies are definitely a part of at least the near future, and they have a utility. I think there's a need for it. Um, when the dollar finishes its uptrend, I do not believe it has, but when it does, we're going to need some other way to invest as the dollar spirals into the toilet.
All
Yeah.
right, let me get to the next article. All right, this one is from investing.com. A look at Amazon, market monopoly or cult of convenience. Where is the first place you look when you need to buy a new charger for your phone? A cast iron skillet, a robot vacuum, For nearly a third of Americans, the first answer is Amazon. With 90 million US based Amazon Prime subscribers, the average subscriber spends roughly $1,300 every year on the e-commerce site, compared to $700 spent by non-subscribers. For $119 a year, you can have everything from daily household goods to shoulder bags shaped like a Corgi butt shipped to your shipped to your front door in 2 days, or even within a few hours in some areas. The convenience of online shopping combined with the wide assortment of products have helped make Amazon one of the most valuable companies in the world. Having established a loyal customer base around the world, Amazon has even begun branching out into new services. An employee of the tech titan can help you install a smart appliance in your home, and even and, e- and you soon may even be able to purchase healthcare through Amazon Internet of offerings. The company's explosive growth in recent years has gotten us quite curious. So we surveyed over 1,000 Amazon shoppers to find out how often they are ordering from the site, how much they trust the company, and which items they are comfortable buying through Amazon. Are Amazon customers loyal? One of the core reasons Amazon is so successful in retaining its customer bases is the Prime subscription, which gets you free 2 day shipping, reduced fees on faster shipping options, Prime Video streaming, access to exclusive brands and products, and even unlimited photo storage on Amazon Cloud Service. Whether Amazon shoppers are interested in those extra features, a majority still elected to enroll in the program. Wow. This is just a chart show the top reasons as to why people, join Amazon Prime. Fast, the free fast shipping for eligible purchases, 73%. TV and movie streaming at 48%. Great Prime Day deals, 28%. Music streaming, 19%, and free Audible books at 13%. The main reason customers subscribe to Amazon was free fast shipping on purchases. For customer retention perspective, the benefits of Prime membership may increase loyalty among shoppers. More than 80% of the users stayed enrolled in the service for at least a year, and over a third of the Prime members for 4 years or longer. Whether you've explored the wild and wacky side of Amazon's online product catalog, there's no denying that shopping on the site and having products delivered to your doorstep is wonderfully convenient. Across Amazon customer survey, 43% 43% stopped shopping at the mall, and nearly 1 in 3 shoppers said they ordered something via Amazon once a month. I want to read that one more time. 43% stopped shopping at the mall. Dollar Will, what say you?
Uh, Clean up an aisle 5. No more. No, turn the light out.
Hmm.
43% are not going to the mall. Okay. It's what's it say.
Yeah, if you're a landlord of a mall, I mean, that's got to be like, biting your fingernails or something, your cuticles.
Okay, and then we also talked a while back about how New York was having difficulty renting some of those big expensive retail spaces. So Abdul, you can add commercial real estate to the list of things for short. Okay,
Revenge of the nerds.
that's right. Commercial real estate. Gonna bite it.
Hmm.
And just think of all this stuff we all of these indicators of a slowing economy that we keep pointing out. Remember that when you turn on the news or you read some website to try to convince you that the economy is growing, and
Hmm.
it's humorous.
Yeah. Yeah, Amazon, I say is more like a code of convenience for those that deal with Amazon. I'm more of an eBay guy. Um, Amazon just seems like I don't know, like you know, people got they pinky in their mouth asking for Grey Poupon. It's just Amazon's is more expensive to me than eBay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you use an Amazon for AWS, I mean, that's a little different,
Well,
but
yeah, that's a little bit that's a different entity from Amazon e-commerce. AWS is a completely separate entity.
oh yeah. So yeah, I just think that people that deal with probably Amazon, that's they probably and it fits in. I think why they bought Whole Foods. Like I think if you probably even before Amazon bought Whole Foods, you probably shop at Whole Foods if you got an Amazon Prime membership, and you probably I don't know have a 401k with $30,000 or more in it. And you probably drive a Prius. I don't know. I mean, it just fits. It just fits in this like catalog of things. I mean, you know, it just certain types of people that you know like Amazon. I mean, if you either like it or you don't. I mean, I'm not saying I dislike it, but I just tend to go on eBay versus Amazon. I mean,
Now, but if you are a business, if you were running a retail company and your job is your objective is to transfer money from their pocket to your cash register, wouldn't you target the people who had the money?
oh yeah, Amazon is great for as far I still I might try to get into their fulfillment. You know it's people that do the eBay. I mean the retail arbitrage where
Right.
they just go try to find stuff and just they ship it to Amazon or they sell it themselves and make a boatload of money. I mean, I'm looking into it, but I don't know. I tend back in my when I used to sell stuff, I tend to sell stuff for more money off of Amazon, but I would sell more items, per volume on eBay. I mean, I don't know, maybe so, I didn't know anybody that was like a Amazon, reseller or something that did volumes. I was taught by a guy that sold on eBay, so that's what I started with. So maybe I don't know if I ran into somebody or if I looked into it, but I don't know.
Well, I think
Just
I think you on to something there. That there are definitely different categories or different demographics. Okay, for who's using one versus the other. I'm sure there is. For example, I've never purchased anything off of eBay. Not in my life. I've never made an eBay purchase. I couldn't tell you how many things I purchased from Amazon. And so it's like it's almost in fact the first place I look when I want to buy something for for better or worse is Amazon.
yeah, yeah,
That's just now I'm not saying I guess I'm saying human beings are creatures of habit and people that are the demographic that goes to Amazon, we find what we want and we pay for it. I'm sure there's a demographic for eBay as well. It would be interesting to see if that retail arbitrage strategy works with more people shopping in the discount stores in this downturn. So you're going to have people going to the dollar store that have never been before.
I think Amazon should just buy eBay. just
No, they wouldn't
just
buy eBay. They
no, they
they, they
wouldn't.
wouldn't they wouldn't buy eBay because there's no value in it. If anything, eBay would be more aligned to a partner themselves with something like Walgreens or Sears for that matter, because Sears has inventory and eBay has real estate space online. They have a brand presence online, so they're not going anywhere. But the to go back to your point about why they buy Whole Foods is because they were looking to get into to the grocer or the grocery market themselves. And Amazon sucks at branding and marketing, and Whole Foods has a whole branding and marketing mechanism in place. So that slots right into what Amazon's needs are. Now we talked about this before that Amazon would have been looking at buying Sears as a downturn because they need the brick and mortar space, and we were proven to be right. So Amazon is looking to tie themselves into these other vertical markets that they would not have been part of before. So they have the real estate space in terms of their warehouse facilities, but what happens when you have to go into these neighborhoods? You really don't have any actual brand presence in these areas outside of someone's phone or their laptop or something like that. You really don't have that. So that's where Amazon's trying to penetrate, and they really can't make that sort of penetration in most areas because they don't understand the market. So why not let a retailer like Whole Foods actually do the work for you, since they already have their brick and mortar space in place, as well as somebody like Sears already has their brick and mortar infrastructure in place. It's easy to leverage things that are already existed. Amazon cannot invent anything. That's why they have a hard time going against Netflix, and they have a hard time going against um, Apple in terms of products and things of that nature. And that's what Apple kind of provides, that real retail experience. You go in there, and if you just feel comfortable, you get that retail experience. Is something that Amazon can't replicate. They need help with that. So that's why Amazon's doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then for them going into the food sector, the grocery sector, that's a good diversification for them because that retail sector is going to get hurt in this downturn.
Yeah.
But the grocery sector should do well.
Yeah.
So that balances out some of their losses that they
Yeah.
are going to experience.
Yeah,
The
they're focusing on staples.
Yeah, the overall, like people not shopping at the mall. That just is over. That's not just Amazon. It's just I say it's part of the It's just the new cultural trend as the last, I would say, 20 years, or you could say 10 years per se, or 15 years that I've seen that people went from a more social aspect of like meeting in person. Like when I was in high school, back in like the mid to late '90s, we met at the mall. We would, try to get online and I mean not get online. I'm thinking now. Back then, the internet was like, it was really premature, pre-bessing, but we would meet at the mall and try to get some numbers or whatever. But now, like my nieces now, their whole lifestyle is like in the house, on Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and that's how they interact. That's how everybody, well, not everybody, but that's how a lot of people. That's how I'm interacting now. Like it's like going to the mall or going uh meeting at the bowling alley or stuff like that. Just meeting outside. It's just it's kind of just a different cultural norm than what it was before. So uh going window shopping and or going shopping, get some jeans now, you would go, they like my nieces again, they buy their clothes on the internet. They got UPS packages, come into the house and all this type of stuff. So
Well,
that's what they do.
the article is actually referring to Amazon purchase customers. So the customers are saying that they're not going to the mall. So 43% of Amazon customers stopped going to the mall. So when you have 90 million customers, and 43% of them are saying that they're not going to the mall anymore because they just go on Amazon. That's actually pretty significant of a piece of data to reference.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a good reference point to show that Amazon is crushing retail little by little. I mean, they knocked down Sears, they knocked down Circuit City, they knocked down many of these other brands.
Uh,
I think we covered the last few hangouts.
And not to mention, culturally, what's going to happen when all these malls close? Where are people? Where are young men going to go to simp?
They go to YouTube and put money in people's super chats. That's what they do. Become
Snapchat.
Patreons.
IG.
Yeah, Snap.
I know.
Oh, no, I'm listening. I like this conversation now because we always talked about the Amazon effect, and now this is really talking about and backing us up when we said Amazon shut down. How we used to talk about Radio Shack made it shut down. Made even stores that are still thriving shut down stores such as Macy's. We always talk about Sears. J.C. Penney not too far behind. The Amazon effect. Instead of going to the mall and picking your stuff up, scroll through Amazon on your mobile phone while you going to, whatever. Or when you wake up in the morning, So yeah.
I mean, how's Best Buy doing?
They weren't doing too well the last time we checked, but we can check one more time. Look on bar chart.
I think it's BBY something.
Yeah. Let me check the bar chart.
Man, they survived. It survived a lot. Circuit City.
Oh yeah.
Radio Shack and shoot, they even took down. I used to work for Tiger Direct.
No, Tiger Direct is owned by
Systemax.
Rakuten. So Rakuten is the famous advertiser out in Oakland for the.
They bought them out, huh?
Yeah, they bought them out years ago. They bought out Circuit City too. They own the domain, so.
Oh.
Yeah, Best Buy doesn't have really much to do with Radio Shack. Radio Shack died because Radio Shack was poorly managed. So bar chart is showing that they're at $60 at closing.
Go out a little more. Give me click that 5-year thing. Let's just see what it looks like, just to get it better. Okay. Yeah, they look kind of similar to what's going on in general in the broader market. Had a decline and trying to recover, and it doesn't look like it's gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they haven't bounced back since what?
Let's see. Then you look at that. Let me go
to 5-year. Let me go to 5-year.
Yeah. There you go. If you look at the lowest point on that, to the right, the recent low, and you look at the high before that, immediately before that, we haven't taken out that high, that last little drop to that low.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no reason to be optimistic until it, makes a higher high and can sustain it. It can stay there. So no, it looks pretty much like the S&P and the Dow, in trouble.
Yeah, from what I've been told, when I used to work at Tiger Direct, they said Geek Squad makes up about over half of their profit margin.
Oh yeah, that's a service sector. That's no difference. That's no different than Sears and Roebuck when they used to come in and install the appliances, the stoves and refrigerators and stuff like that into your house. So in their repair service, so that makes sense. They just got away with rebranding as a form of service, right? So Geek Squad is just a service department.
Wow. So you think at some point they'll ever spin it off as its own separate thing?
No, because it's tied in with the Best Buy brand. I mean, who else would be buying Geek Squad at that point, right? Because Amazon has their own professional services now too.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, I think the article was touched on it.
Do they have?
No, they don't. They it's not their own. It's like just rent a text, like or rent a like pretty much you can sign up if let's say you got a you're a photographer and you want to make like some extra money, like it's like kind of like a gig economy where you want to make some side jobs or something. You
Mm-hmm.
can sign up with Amazon Home Services, and they'll do a background check, and you know, and you could do some photography on the side or whatever, or at least offer it. If someone purchases your service, then you know you'll work from Amazon, but you're not an Amazon employee. You're just a contractor.
Well, yeah. So, but to Dollar Will's point,
Oh,
and to the overall the overall point of the discussion, I think that Best Buy is only surviving because it's in certain areas where people actually need what they, have a need for a certain appliance. Um, but
well,
now
they
you
did.
see, but now
Yeah,
you see Home Depot creeping into that sector too. I saw that Home Depot is starting to sell TVs now, so
yeah.
it could
I
be really
mean,
beyond.
they're the lion. They the kind of the lone lion on the plane now. They done kicked out of Circus City. Radio Shack is not there anymore. The Tiger Direct is no longer. Tiger Direct used to be. I don't know about like where you guys are from that they have a Tiger Direct, but they had a Tiger Direct in the Chicagoland area, all throughout the Chicagoland area. They shut down their stores in 2015, all throughout the United States. So they're only mainly online now.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know if they
Tiger Direct competed with Fry's and Micro Center. They didn't compete with
right.
Best
Well, I mean, it's in the scheme of things that they did, they sold TVs and stuff like that.
Yeah, there
They
is a bit of crossover between all of them.
yeah, they couldn't compete. I mean, Best Buy was on a whole nother level, but they were there. I mean, our the store I worked at, it was a Best Buy like right on the other side, a block over. So it's like they're just facing each other. They're like right, but their backs were against each other as far as like you could walk from the Best Buy store right to the Tiger Direct without even having to cross the street. But yeah, Tiger Direct is no longer there. The only competitors they have is well in the Chicagoland area is Fry's and Micro Center. And Fry's and Micro Center are so far apart from okay, so if like I'm a tech, if I need my computer, well, somebody called me and they needed their computer fixed, where am I gonna go to get computer parts or some way halfway get computer parts? I
Micro.
gotta go to no, I gotta go to Best Buy because that's the closest um, store that I could go to, and I'm gonna pay a higher price than I would if I go to Micro Center. If I had like I'm saying, if I had to fix somebody's computer right, like within an hour, that's where I would have to go. But if I got advance notice, I mean, yeah, I would go to Micro Center hands down because they got more stuff and the prices are a lot cheaper. But before, when Tiger Direct was in business, I could go to Tiger Direct, and it's not that far away that I could go, like maybe 20 minutes away. Versus, now that they're not there, I would have to go to the nearest Micro Center, be like an hour away. So
Well, the thing about Micro Center and Fry's is that, and I noticed specifically for Micro Center because I spoke with the general manager before. Um, Micro Center is positioned in places that has a dedicated customer base. So no matter what Amazon does, those people will come to Micro Center nonstop. They're very specific. Tech people are very specific about what they buy and where they buy it from.
yeah,
So they're very loyal. The
Yeah.
Micro Center here in Cambridge actually is the number one micro center in the country. They do $2 million a day in sales, just at that one location alone.
Wow. Yeah. Micro Center is really the they're the lone computer store around. I mean, the Fry's for me, it's only one Fry's in entire Illinois, I believe, if I'm not correct. So and they're like in the western suburbs of Chicago, so they're like over an hour away. But I can get to a micro center. It's about a little under an hour. They're downtown Chicago is the nearest one. So, it's just they're literally like the only it's two locations, but they're the only computer store um that I could really get computer parts because Best Buy doesn't have all the computer parts. I don't think you get a motherboard at Best Buy, desktop motherboard. I mean,
Well,
so
then you factor in what Newegg can do, right? So Newegg, or not even Newegg, Amazon could potentially ship it to you through Prime in 2 days.
yeah, yeah.
So if you had, like you said before, you've had advance notice, then maybe you could avoid Best Buy. But what I'm saying here is, brother, you got a lot of noise going on in the background. So
Oh,
what I'm saying here is that I think that Best Buy, is hanging on to a thread right now. You can look at the chart right now that I have up from bar chart. You can see that they took a mean dip in just in 2019 alone. So, and then they're not going to get back up from that.
yeah. It doesn't look like they're gonna get back up like Dollar Will was saying. It looks like that they dipping and then they're going.
Yeah,
They
we
might
also
they might even go further down.
right. I think so. But we'll see. But
So
I know I hear these guys on the financial shows. They're expressing optimism, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to be too long.
I would add them to my short list.
And what is it? Good Guitar Center. I wonder. I mean, how are people? You hear anybody talking about Guitar Center? Do people still go there and
They
get
bought
nothing?
out they bought out Daddies. Yeah, they bought out all of the what are those? What was that bookstore? What's the bookstore?
I don't know, boy.
Barnes and Noble.
Borders. They took over all the Borders locations in most of the major locations that had over 20,000 square feet. So they took over those locations and they pretty much turned them into kind of like their own Best Buy for music. So people are still going in and out there. Last time I checked, I know they took over the Daddies music as well. So
Wow.
in Boston they sit right outside of Berkeley College of Music. So they fucking cash coming in like it's a cash cow for them. So they're not going anywhere for the foreseeable future because people still need their equipment repaired. They still want to touch those Serato and things like that. So
They got auto tune.
well, you can download that now, but
Yeah.
what I'm overall saying is that those type of things are niche markets. That Guitar Center, so people are still going to go in there because they want to. It's just a need for them to go touch the equipment.
Yeah, and we got to keep in mind when we're looking at these stock charts that a company can be doing well, okay, they can be doing solid financially, but their stock price can take a beating.
The company is not the stock, and the stock is not the company.
Correct. There you go. Because in certain industries just fall out of favor among investors, at one time or another, and that grocery chain is going to come into favor, um, possibly McDonald's and Starbucks as well. And it's going to be interesting to see what I think Wi-Fi is going to be a boon to those fast food stores because of what we said earlier about people having to cut back. A lot of people are going to be spending time sitting around at McDonald's the way that they sit around in Starbucks. That's just my opinion. We'll see how it goes.
That's all. They already do that. Shoot,
Okay.
I used to sit in McDonald's for damn near the whole day when I was unemployed and just
You
playing check.
go get some fries and a coffee and just sit there and look at it so that so that you bought something, you know. And that's going to possibly take some of that mall experience that you were talking about, because people have a need to see one another. The girls want to be seen, and the guys want to see the girls, and so it could be the neighborhood fast food place.
The
And
old people hang out at McDonald's all day, just like get a coffee. Some of them, I think they used to offer free coffees.
I've seen
And
that. I've seen that.
it'll sit all day and just
Yes,
hang out.
It's like McDonald's has almost become like the new Dunkin' Donuts. People historically would hang out at the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
That was a destination. There's some older people that just naturally get up real early in the morning, and they naturally wake up about 5 because they've been doing it all their life.
Yeah.
Nothing for them to get up at 5 or 6 and go to the Dunkin' Donut.
Yeah, they retired.
Yeah.
I got a question. What about elderly people that get up and walk the mall in the morning?
What about them?
They have to find somewhere else to go. Because a part of the reason they walked in the mall was that one, it seemed relatively safe. It was indoors and all that. But these malls are closing.
Yeah, that they closed too. They closed the mall. I remember before I even lived in Madison, they used to have the Lincoln Mall. They closed that one like a little over 10 years ago or so.
Lincoln Mall used to be the stuff. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, Lincoln Mall was like, man, just
what was so good about it?
I mean, it was like
where everybody was at. It was in the middle of all these suburbs. It was like a top tier mall.
Yeah, it was real. It was real. Like I thought, I used to go to River Oaks. I used to live in Dalton. I grew up in Dalton.
River Oaks.
So I used to always go to River Oaks, but I thought Lincoln Mall was better than River Oaks. But River Oaks is still open. So but you know what it is? I think because Simon owns River Oaks. So Simon is a publicly traded company. And they run it really well. And whoever ran Lincoln Mall, they just they couldn't keep up. And then you got White Flight. I mean, that played a big role. That's what shut down Evergreen Plaza too. So
no, I disagree.
You disagree?
Evergreen Plaza was where all the black folks was at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that's because of the reason why these malls, those two malls were shut down, partially is because of White Flight. I mean, I would say mainly because of White Flight.
Because I would also agree with you because a lot of black people that move out to these suburb areas, they don't know how to upkeep their homes, the surrounding areas, and how to keep the businesses afloat in these places like South Holland. South Holland has a rule: if you don't cut your grass, you getting billed
$100 fine. I used to live in South Holland.
Right, a fine,
$100, and then after a while they'll cut it for you, but they'll just charge you $100 every time they cut the grass, which is pretty high. You could get the Mexicans to do that for a whole month.
Now I say it to say that those little fees weed out people that the ratchet people.
Yeah, South Holland they don't have apartments either. If you notice,
you're right.
Or liquor stores.
Yeah. They don't do liquor stores, but the weed
Now
apple.
you guys are hitting on the difference between middle income and middle class. Go ahead.
Yeah, that weed out the ratchet people because a lot of ratchet people want to get a house. Next thing you know, they bring in roaches and rats with them for some reason. Uh, their kids want to steal from the other people on the block. You know,
You describing Dalton now.
well,
Dal- That's what
yeah,
happened to Dalton. And from when I lived in Dalton, it went from like Fresh Prince of Bel Air to The Wire in like 10 years. After
yeah,
the projects, they got all of them people from the projects, and they moved them out south. And
yes. Now, well, I say all that to say these people don't know the economics of keeping the businesses up in your area. They so quick to say, "Well, I want to go to the white people Walmart," or
yeah,
"I want to go to this Walmart," not knowing that you taking that money out, and all of a sudden you don't have anywhere to get a job. They don't know the economics of these things.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
let me get to this Payless article. This one is from BarChart.com. Payless Shoe Source to shutter all of its remaining U.S. stores. Payless Shoe Source is shuttering all of its 2,100 remaining stores in the U.S. and Puerto Rico, joining a list of iconic names like Toys R Us and Bon-Ton that have closed down last year. The Topeka, Kansas-based chain said Friday it would hold liquidation sales starting Sunday and wind down its e-commerce operations. All of the stores will remain open until at least the end of March, and the majority will remain open until May. The debt burden chain filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in 2017, closing hundreds of stores as part of its reorganization. At the time, it had over 4,400 stores in more than 30 countries. It reemerged from restructuring 4 months later with about 3,500 stores and eliminated more than $435 million in debt. The company said in an email that the liquidation doesn't affect its franchise operations or its Latin American stores, which remain open for business as usual. It lists 18,000 employees worldwide. Shoppers are increasingly shifting their buying online or heading to discount stores like TJ Maxx to grab deals on brand name shoes. That's just
You could stop right there. You don't even need to say anymore.
Yeah, this thing is
Man,
hilarious, man. They said
man,
they're not shutting down their franchise operator. So that means that they'll sell you a franchise, but they getting out of the business. Then wait a minute.
when I was coming up in grade school, man, I used to wear XJ 900s. I don't know if you guys familiar with that. It's the older
Nah,
guys, the
I'm
older
from
guy,
I'm from the PF Flyers area.
the older guys know, man, XJ 900s, man. And they used to roast me in school, man. I used to get roasted. And then I started my uncle bought me my first pair of Nikes, man, and that was the standard, man. I had to wear brand name. But now brand names are cheap. You get a pair of Nikes for $30 or less. Back when I was younger, gym shoes, Nikes and all the Reeboks were a lot more expensive. And
I mean,
you
even when I was trying to save money being cheap, I don't think I never got any of that for no $30. I think I might have got them for 60.
yeah, TJ Maxx and
Marcus,
was it Ross? Yeah, you
Ross,
could get brand names for the kids now got it good, but yeah, you can't the kids even now they can't go to school with no XJ 900s. They didn't say this back then, but they say it now. What are those? you know you you can't be rocking what are those shoes anymore. It's not fashionable. But it wasn't then. But I didn't know no better, man. And my mom wanted to get some cheap shoes, and once we pay
But
less.
I would tell you, when this market turns, you will see people wearing stuff that you thought they would be ashamed to wear. They're gonna wear it and have no shame.
Yeah,
Tough times gonna change a lot of that brand snobbery that we have. That's gonna change.
What was that, Lino?
Oh no, no.
All right.
I mean,
This next one is from investing.com. Amazon secures London retail space for checkout free stores. The grocer. Amazon has secured central London retail space for its checkout free Amazon Go Food store concept, the grocer reported. In what would be the company's first expansion of its automated convenience shops outside the United States. Selling food in physical stores is a key strategy of the world's top online retailer as it tries to win business from shoppers. It has so far opened 10 Amazon Go stores in the U.S., but is yet to take the concept overseas. The trade publication did not say how many sites have been secured for the stores, where sensors and cameras track customers as they pick up items, allowing them to be automatically charged for their shopping. A spokesperson for Amazon in the UK declined to comment on the report. Bernstein analyst Bruno Montine said the Amazon Go stores would fit into the high traffic segment of the convenience food retail market, catering for people on the move or working locally, selling quote on the go food, meal kits, and standard groceries. In that sense, they would compete with chains such as Pret-a-Manger and Eat, Eat and Marks and Spencer, as well as convenience stores of the UK grocery market leader Tesco, number two player Sainsbury. So Amazon, they just won't stop.
yeah, all that money, man. Money makes more money.
Hmm. I know you have something to say.
Well, they're expanding overseas. This cashless store. It's not really you can say about this particular article because of what we said about Amazon and the other particular articles on for tonight. They're just letting they got the money expanding overseas. They're expanding their brand. Um, I'm, I actually want to ask about the healthcare that they were planning on rolling out. That's that boggles my mind. You have this. They sell you stuff, groceries, and then healthcare. They it's like they're touching on a number of industries.
Before we get to the healthcare thing, can you explain what is a checkout free store?
Checkout free store is basically a store that has regular items in it, but there's no cashier. So it bills you based on who you are as a person and what you pick up.
So I'm scanning it or something with my phone, or
It's got sensors, so if you pick up an item, it knows you picked it up.
Well, even before that, when you come in. I don't know if you
It
come through.
authenticates you,
Yeah, authenticates through your Amazon app. Well, through your Amazon account.
and you can't steal
why not?
because there's a man trap in the door.
So it won't open if I have it.
You,
So it says, Negro, you don't have no money for that. No, put that down. Put that down.
mhm.
You scan your palm or your or your hand, and that's
And you know you only had $35.
No, what I mean is that if you, it's not like a regular person could just walk in off the street, going in and snatch and grab, or like traditionally, like how some minority groups, I won't mention, eat the grapes while they walk around the store and then won't pay for it. Um, that those days are over with a store like this. I believe they use RFID tags on all of their items, so that's how they're able to track it.
Okay. All right.
Will they take snap cards?
To my knowledge, they won't do anything like that. They want to operate like a retail food chain. So
Whole Foods take snap, I believe. I think they do.
yeah, but the way how the way how they're looking at it, where they're placing these food, these Amazon Go things, the idea of a person who's going to use Snap is like unimaginable because it's a high income place. If that makes any sense. Anyways, let me
I
get to
get
the
it.
next thing.
So the money that they're getting on Snap, it wouldn't go far there. So that's not going to be a customer that's going to show up there.
That's not the target demographic. All right, the last one is from CNBC.com. J.P. Morgan is rolling out the first U.S. bank-backed cryptocurrency to transform payment businesses. The first cryptocurrency created by a major U.S. bank is here, and it's from J.P. Morgan Chase. The lender moves more than $6 trillion around the world every day for corporations in its massive wholesale payments business. And trials set to start in a few months. A tiny fraction of what will happen over to something called JPM Coin, the digital token created by engineers at the New York-based bank to instantly settle payments between clients. JP Morgan is preparing for a future in which parts of the essential underpinning of global capitalism, from cross-border payments to corporate debt issuance, move to the blockchain. That's the database technology that made famous for its first application, Bitcoin. But in order for that future to happen, the bank needed a way to transfer money at the dizzying speed that those smart contracts close, rather than relying on old technology like wire transfers. So anything that currently exists in the world, as that moves on to the block, as it moves on to the blockchain, this would be a payment leg for that transaction, said Umar. Not to not not to be confused with Dr. Umar, head of J.P. Morgan's blockchain projects. The applications are frankly quite endless. Anything where you have a distributed ledger which involves corporations or institutions can use this. What do you think about this, Lionel?
Um, their JPM coin by itself, I don't think it'll survive because them being a predominantly American company, like the crypto market would revolt against that. But because they have so much money, $6 trillion is not nothing to scoff at, and because they have so much, like the what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? The utility utility of this JPM coin is used for, well, where is it? For cross border payments. Okay, to corporate debt issuance. These are things that would make them even more money. And the way you settle these things is through their JPM coin. They're attaching things that investors will want to get in to the JPM coin. I'm not so keen on cross border payments because they can be used as another SWIFT by America or Europe, so forth. But this corporate debt insurance and other um, investments where You can go to JP Morgan and invest in traditional market and use the JPM coins to invest in crypto or bonds and everything. That's big to me.
Dollar Wolf.
Yeah, I was just looking at the part of the article where it said that Jamie Dimon had bashed Bitcoin as a fraud. Okay,
And he did. We covered that in one of our articles.
yeah. But it said that he consistently said blockchain and regulated digital currencies held promise. Okay. I remember like when we first started this channel, we were, debating then, not really debating. The question was, would the whales, would establish Wall Street, and financial industries, would they accept cryptocurrency? We're not even a year into this channel, and that's not even a question anymore. We just sped right past that part. You know, everybody's trying to get involved, even though the charts don't look encouraging.
Hmm.
Everybody knows that that's just a phase. That at some
Oh,
point, it will recover. Everybody seems to know that.
I remember from that other article, it had blockchain expert certification. Maybe I should take that. Be the first black blockchain developer.
At least in the
You'll probably be
manosphere.
number. You'll probably be yeah, probably be number two or something like that. I don't think you're gonna have Lionel be anytime soon.
Oh,
But I want to. When we're done with this, I want to show one chart, just one, just one.
Go right ahead. We're finished. Everything on the dock has been covered.
Okay, let me do this real fast. Kind of fading. Uh, Come on, start the screen share. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. All right. Analyzing chart pattern, the wedge. Not the wedgie,
Hmm.
the wedge. What we're gonna be looking at, you got a falling wedge, sometimes called a descending wedge or descending triangle. The converse of that is the rising wedge, ascending triangle. You see what happens? It gets narrow and then it falls. Just wanted to cover that pattern. And what we're looking at here is the SPX, which is the S&P 500. You see on the stochastic, we are overbought. We got a rising wedge. I say we're gonna fall. Now on TV, everybody's talking up this market like it's just gonna keep on rising. This narrowing, uh, end of the triangle says otherwise. We're overbought. Hold on for a second. Got a cough. Yeah, so we are overbought on this stochastic. We got a rising wedge or ascending wedge or ascending triangle. It's gonna fall. That's my view. And if it does, it looks like it would also qualify for a head and shoulders pattern, with this being the left shoulder, this basically being the right, coming on down. So we'll see. So this lets you know what you should look out for in the next week, because well, actually maybe that's not really a head and shoulders. Maybe this would be it, but it broke it. But anyway, this is what you want to look for. Does it break this red line? What's important about the S&P 500 is it represents 500 largest companies traded in the stock market, and essentially all of your retirement accounts are invested in this. Okay, it might go by another name, But just about all retirement accounts, if it's a stock-based fund, it's basically pegged to the S&P 500. So this is what everybody should be looking at coming up, because either it's going to break higher, but I mean that's not likely with us being over bought at this moment. The best bullish argument I could make was, okay, let's say it does break down, but it doesn't make a new low. So it could, in theory, pull back a little, go to oversold, and then continue going higher. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. But all of you should be watching this and talking to your financial advisor about how to position your money for your retirement, because this affects almost everyone. That's it. I just wanted to hip you out of that. And let me end the screen share. That's all I got. But I will have, for anybody that's subscribing to my channel, I will be putting up some stuff this weekend. Looking at some individual things like gold and stuff like that. Maybe some other industries. So you will see something.
All right. This is open mic. I mean, we can open it up until 12, and then we'll call it a night.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Mike.
I said it's open mic right now. We can open it up until 12, and we can call it a night.
Okay. Well, I got nothing to add. Anybody in the chat? Anyone we got anything in the chat? Anybody in the chat? What do you got? What do we got in the chat? Okay. Don't see nothing new in the chat. DE Raptor said about Sao Paulo, Brazil. And Mike said, what about it? And we didn't get a reply. Are we doing are you guys doing a IT anything tomorrow?
Yeah, we have our Black Tech Talk tomorrow about inventions of Black history.
Okay.
Final installment.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Also offering free mentorship to anyone listening to this, one-on-one IT mentorship. So if you want me to mentor you, then you can always drop your email in the chat, or after the video is completed, and drop it in the comment section under the video.
So what range of what's the range on that? I mean what's at what beginning stage of IT?
It's every stage.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Every stage from novice to advanced.
Okay. So if somebody's trying to get it together to get their A+ certification, that they can talk to you.
Anybody can talk to me, from a barista at Starbucks all the way up to system architects.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm working on trying to get in coding school for Java development, for Android development. I'm when I actually get in, I'm gonna list the school, if it's legit and everything. I'm gonna mention it because
Chicago Community College.
No. I you know what the name of it? I think it's I'll have it like when I get my when I get my email open and everything, I'll list it. But
oh, Udacity.
Yeah, no, it's it's I think it's IGBT Council or something like that, or something along that wording. But they supposedly give you free training if you're a vet. So it's the 1 month boot camp for Android coding.
Oh,
So yeah. So
Okay, yeah.
when I go, I'm going through it now. I'm getting I registered for it. So supposedly the school starts in March. So and if everything's legit, I'll mention I'll put the link in the chat and everything, and I'll talk more about it.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of vets out there, man. Yeah, we need that information. Spread it.
which branch did you serve in?
U.S. Navy.
Oh, so you and Lionel.
Who ya? Can you want to hear me?
Say it again, Lionel.
No, I said who ya?
Yeah, there you go. Shipmate.
When did you serve?
I served in 2001, right before September 11th.
Okay.
Oh,
I know. When did you serve?
2003, 2007.
all right. Well, thank you, brothers, for your service.
You're welcome.
Well,
All right. So if there's nothing else, I'm looking at DE's comment. I spent some time there, and there are liquor stores and apartments there.
Where is he talking about? Spent time where?
Sao Paulo.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
oh, who said that?
DE,
Oh yeah, yes.
Mr. Desert Eagle. All right. So if there's nothing else, we'll be back tomorrow with Black Tech Talk, Conventions in Black History, which is the final installment. And again, if you all want mentorship, please drop your email in the chat or underneath the comment section underneath the video. And I'll get back to you and we can set up a date. We could do one-on-one or we could do it open air on the Hangout. So thank you all and have a good night.